Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League, round of 16. Group C today, Group D tomorrow. If you weren't with us last week, you missed two fantastic groups in Group A and B. You can pop over to YouTube and collect the VODs if you wish to catch up with all of the action from last week. Today's group is Group C. Game one down. Colaris.
Hi.
That was highly entertaining, I think, between it. You're right there.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Highly entertaining. Best of three between the three of them. I'm not known for liking Stormhost matches, I think that would be fair to say. But a couple of those were actually quite interesting in the way that the dynamics flowed, especially map 1 and 2, because you didn't quite know which way it was going to go for a while.
Yeah, and again, without some of the cool moves from Wellmu to actually prolong that, I think that it could have ended, you know, that it could have been in a bit more of a disastrous position. So they matched up very nicely against one another, considering the style. And obviously, Wellmu's had a lot of, I mean, every Protoss has had a lot of experience against the Swarmhost style, and it's very interesting to see and watch how people actually deal with it once they're presented with it.
I think, I could be wrong, but every Zerg that plays him plays Swarmhosts against him. At least they have done in the last few months. And Honestly, I think they're onto something. They're like, he doesn't know how to play against it. But in map 2, he kind of showed he can play against Swarmhost, albeit with a little bit of luck thrown in there, I guess, as well.
Yeah, there were twists and turns. Of course, there was twists and turns. But overall, I was surprised that it wasn't as more of an aggressive stance out of Welmu. He was more than happy to actually transition on. We saw the movement from game number 1 to 2 and 3, where he was just kind of poking at a little bit, trying to find areas of aggression, but in the end, always falling back to a superior probe count to that of game number 1.
Yeah, game 1 he went air toss as well, so it was total change up from what he was doing, but didn't see any of that in game 2 and 3 really. Just do you think he got fed up with having stuff nicked all the time by the Vipers in game 1? Because I don't know how you feel about it, but looking at it, you're just thinking, wow, he's just getting everything abducted. Even lost that mothership as well for nothing. I mean, I don't think it did a single piece of damage. No,
not too much, and its utility wasn't met either, which is the most important thing about that mothership when it comes to that. So, good overall, good series by Golden, good crisis management and good ability to just make sure he can hold down in the middle.
He's a lovely guy as well to boot. He's always comes across great in the interview, so it's always nice to interview. We're going to move on to our second game now. Let's show you the bracket and show you exactly where we are right now. We've had just the one game, so if you have missed it, don't worry too much. We're still early on in the evening here in Cologne. Mana versus MMA is our next matchup. The winner will play Golden. The loser drops down to play Wellmoots. Of course, win 2 and you are through GSL-style brackets, of course, in all of our group stages in round of 16 and round of 32. Next game, Mana versus MMA. Mana, he's, I don't know, he kind of frustrates me because you know how good he is.
Yeah.
You've watched him play and you think, God, blimey, he's got everything a player could want. He's won Premier titles in the past, albeit it's been a while. And he seems to have all the equipment. And yet somehow he gets to this stage almost every time. In fact, he's never been past round of 16. And he falls. Why? What do you think it is about his style, his gameplay? What is it?
Tough groups.
He definitely has had a few of those this time, that's for sure.
Yeah. The round of 32 this season, actually, for Mana as well, was kind of shaky. Weren't going through in second place, but of course he had 4GG in that group, and 4GG is looking pretty on point so far this season.
Took a map off him, though, in that group stage, and then beat Bling and Bly.
In a very unorthodox series. Between 4GG and Mana, and it could have actually gone Mana's way, all things considered. But I think this one's going to be difficult for him.
Yeah, and this time last season, of course, he played Golden for the place in the quarterfinals. It was the last game of the group, and he lost that one 2-1. So he's got Golden in the same group again. He's not going to be looking forward to that, is he?
No, not too much. I can imagine that he's probably, well, if he was wanting to go into a winners match, he would like maybe the PvP, but even the PvP is quite volatile, and considering that Welmu is good in the matchup as well. So either way you break this group down, it's going to be difficult, I think, for Mana.
One of the things he's got going against him against MMA is that his PvT is probably his best matchup right now. So whilst others are struggling, other Protoss are struggling against Terrans recently, he seems okay with it.
He kind of... If you take 4GG, the series against 4GG as the example, again, it was a little bit weird, a little bit quirky as a series, but there was things that forced it into that position. I think, actually, if Mana did a similar thing in this series and kind of force it into those odd spots, maybe it could have been the best way to advance on, because MMA is a bit of a killer.
Yeah, no, he absolutely is. We're going to move on to him right now, and fresh off a DreamHack victory, which, you know, when you list his Premier titles right now, he's got 7 of them. He's got an Intel Extreme Masters, he's got an MLG, he's got a DreamHack, so that's the Triple Crown, he's got all 3 of those. He's got an Iron Squid, he's got a GSL, a WCS, and a BlizzCon trophy. I mean...
It's quite a mouthful.
It is, it's quite hard to remember it all as well, he's won so many, but it's unusual, isn't it? Because most players we see sort of dominate one area or, you know, pick up like a lot of championships in one particular thing. He's never done that, but he's got almost a full house there.
Yeah, and most importantly, I mean, off the back of all of those results going on today, for him, it's all about BlizzCon, right? So he is going to be extremely, extremely hungry when it comes to this group and the oncoming WCS.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke a little bit in the pre-show with Sean. He's 17th right now. He's 16th if you add in the points he will automatically get from this group stage if he finishes last. Yeah. But he doesn't want to finish last. He doesn't want to finish second either. He wants to win this group, go on through the group, get into the round of 8 and get as many points as he can from WCS Europe to ensure that when he goes to DreamHack, he doesn't have to perform specifically to a set target. I mean, right now, he has to get to the final if he goes out here, so that would be massive for him.
And overall, if you look at how MMA went through his round of 32 group, I would argue that he was in the hardest round of 32 group of all of them. He went through Yoderum first.
Yeah.
The two TSM fellows, TCM fellows. I can't believe I just did that. Sorry, Jarrett Kale.
Yeah.
But
I was going to throw you in with Jarrett at that point as well.
No. I corrected myself very quickly, so I'm okay.
If you're listening, TSM, we wouldn't mind if you want to put a StarCraft player or a StarCraft team together. That's absolutely fine. We won't complain about that.
They tweeted at Don Regu, so that's kind of cool.
Well, yeah, maybe.
Anyway, so the thing is about that result is that MMA showed really, really good games against First, of all people, who was, for a very, very long time, PVT specialist. He was the man. But since this fell off. So it's going to be interesting to see how these two are going to be stacking up, because they can have two very, very different kind of styles actually clashing against one another.
Nothing majorly surprising. Catalina, Deadwing, Nimbus gone out of that lot. What do you expect? Foxtrot probably go as well?
Foxtrot? Yeah, it could do. I think, you know, having things like merry-go-round open for... There is technical, like, volatility there sometimes. That could play in Mana's favor, but, I mean, we'll see what he wants to go for.
It's MMA to remove, so... Yeah. I'm guessing Foxtrot.
Yeah.
Okay, so Foxtrot does go. So we got a fairly standard map, 3-round here. Overgrowth, merry-go-round, King, Sejong. These two do have a little bit of history between them. They've actually played 15 maps between them over the years, but the majority of those were back in Wings of Liberty, where MMA actually fell down against Mana quite often. So Mana had the upper hand, but since it's Heart of the Swarm, it's been the other way round, and already twice this year, Mana's gone down to MMA. So everything points towards the Korean in this matchup. Is there any small hope that you can give the poll?
Again, I think if you can throw the balance off...
I thought you were going to say no.
No, I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be mean, because if I do, I know Mana will get me later on. And he won't give me any more sweets, which is bad as well. But I think if he throws the balance off, if he throws a little bit of chaos in there and kind of keeps MMA guessing, that's going to be his best bet. Because MMA, no doubt in my mind, absolutely no doubt, he's come so prepared, but he's also going to be scouting out the attempts at chaos as well. So Mana's chaos is going to have to be very chaotic. He's
very much the underdog in this group, but he's capable, and he's shown us in previous seasons that he can win these kind of tough games, and he can come through. But just what does he need to do in these matchups now? I mean, in terms of, you know, mentality and approach and what have you.
Sorry, are you on about Mana here? Or?
Yeah, Mana.
Yeah, I still think it's the chaos. Again, with how he performed against 4GG, there was the option and the true ability for him to have taken those series. It was kind of close, kind of down to the wire. But MMA, he's just going to play solid. It's going to be really difficult to break him.
Okay, thank you very much, James. We'll hear from James a little bit later on, of course, and we've got more matches on the way to test his throat later on as well, so we'll see him back in the commentary box. For now, though, it's time for game number 2 of Group C, MMA versus Mana. Don't forget, social media-wise, keep interacting with the official channels at StarCraft on Twitter and /StarCraft on Facebook.com, and include, as I haven't been doing, naughty me, the hashtag #WCS if you tweet about any of the matches or the players. Let's go over to the commentary booth for game number 2 with Apollo and Hasselhobbs.
Thank you very much, Redeye and Kolaris, and I'm very excited for this next matchup that we have. MMA versus Mana, a game that's been played multiple times over the years. I think you remember back to GSL Code S, it was played there. Yeah. It was also played in the very first season of the Premier League in WCS as well. And of course, they've traded many blows and strikes to each other in the ATC, where Team Liquid fights very often against Team Acer. But they fight again once here to see who will go to the winners match. I know we talked about it just a little bit now. Give us your overall thoughts of the map pool, the map selection, these two players going head to head. I know you do favor one player over the other.
Yeah, I think MMA is the very big favorite in this game. He just came off from the DreamHack win. Yeah. He has incredibly good PVT. He's very solid. Like on the table they were mentioning 4GG against Mana. I'd say it's a little bit easier to play against 4GG. He's a very good player as well. Yep. But if you compare him to MMA is way more scarier. He has more build orders. He also adapts a little bit more to his opponents, I feel. And he looks, I think he said he's well prepared, and
he's very confident feeling today. You can just, I mean, the way that he's acting around people, we know when he's nervous, he looks like this all the time when he's a little bit worried about who he's going to play up against. But throughout the studio today, he's been waving, he's been smiling, he's been having a good old joke with everyone around.
Yeah, very relaxed.
very, very relaxed, and especially probably coming off that DreamHack wins helped a lot coming into this today. But Mana, talk to us about Mana. You've mentioned the key strengths, really, of MMA. What about Mana? What makes him so good? Because over the years, he actually has had a very good Protoss versus Terran.
Definitely. I think it's always has been his best matchup as far as I know. And he always says it comes down to the skill. Like, if he plays very well, he says he can beat any Terran. Maybe not any, but he has a very good shot of beating very good Korean Terrans as well. And I think he is actually going to play very straight up on the first map, and if he feels this goes completely wrong, he might have a pocket strategy. He's going for the second map. Do we have Marigo as second map?
Yes, it's the second, yes.
That would fit very well if they want to go for something like this, or if Mana wants to go for something like this.
Yeah.
Because King Sejong, you can play straight up, but you can be cheesy with Blink Stalkers as there's a lot of room to jump in.
Do you think the recent development of Protoss versus Terran, the parting style where you go for the Blink Stalkers early to the fast third, has that had an influence on Mana's playstyle recently, do you think?
I guess so, yeah. Mana said that he practiced very specific for this group. He said he didn't have the most amount of games, but it was very good practice, is what he told me. So I think he definitely had some build orders he was looking to and tried to maybe to copy them or make it work for him.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to what he will show tonight.
Well, here we are, game number 1 for these two players of the Premier League within Group C. Here we go, up here to the top left-hand side, playing for Team Acer, the green man from Team Acer. It's MMA. And this is a very important day for this man. You know, forget about the DreamHack win. You want to go to BlizzCon, you have to advance from today's group here. Very, very important day. But down here in the bottom right-hand side, playing for Team Liquid is the blue Protoss player. It's Mana.
The BlizzCon is a very good point. There's still a lot of pressure on MMA. Even though he just won a tournament, it's nothing you can relax on. It's even though he's smiling a lot, he's happy. I mean, obviously he won a tournament, but he still has to perform very well here. He needs the round of 8. I think then he's almost secure.
He's almost secure. He'd need at least to get some WCS points from him just to make sure he's safe.
Yeah. So it is a very important group for him as well.
It's a little bit sad that MMA's year hasn't been quite as successful as it was previously. He fell short in the round of 32 in Season 2 this year and didn't really perform at the DreamHacks he traveled to either. And that kind of put him in the position he's in today where he needs the points. But good recovery at DreamHack Moscow to be able to get those points back in the bag. And maybe we'll see if he continues that on tier today.
Yeah, that's true. He has been at one of the IEMs, right? And dropped out
quite early. He was played in Shenzhen and lost in the group stage. He won the qualifier for that, got first place in the qualifier.
Yeah, so quite up and down, but just like the last weeks, he looks very strong again.
And he did tweet out that motivational tweet. I don't know if you saw that or not, saying that this is just the start of the rest of my year.
Yeah, I saw that.
Of course, he really wants to go. The #1 goal on MMA, for MMA, is BlizzCon. Absolutely. And he's going to be, well, would be very upset if he didn't make it.
And he's going for an SCV scout followed by a Reaper scout, so he wants to find out exactly what Mana is going to do here on King Sejong Station. While Mana, I think I expect him to go straight up on the first map, and then maybe if it doesn't work, he will change it up on the second and third map. So I would see, or I would think he's going up with a very quick Nexus. Will probably cancel the Zealot, and he actually
snuck the probe out.
Yeah, nice movement there. And
is he going to get it down though? It's going to be quite close.
There we go. He cancelled one of his probes to make sure.
Oh, a 150 mineral bank of a Zealot and a probe there.
Gets the Mothership core behind it, obviously. The Reaper's on the way.
And MMA, he's playing with gas here as well. He's still with 3.
Still mining, yeah.
Factory play more than likely here. So, yeah, we'll see how Mana can deal with that. MMA's had quite a lot of success with that play in recent times.
Do you think we will see Hellions because he's getting the reactor, or is it just like Marine, Widow Mine, Medivac?
It really can be any, is the correct answer. It can be both.
Oh, look at this! He's proxying the factory.
Ooh! MMA.
Hey, I think he did that against me as well when we were playing in the round of 8. That's a pretty long time ago, though, but he's been known for proxy factory builds as well against Protoss.
Not recently, though.
Not recently.
Not recently, but he has done it in the past. And because of the recent trends of how this matchup play, and recently MMA hasn't done it, this is probably going to be a surprise here for Mana.
Definitely.
So this will be Widow Mines then, right? You'd imagine?
Yeah, I would. So, maybe even the proxy starport behind this.
Yeah. Drop the Widow Mine straight in from that position.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah.
Mana is getting a Twilight Council, so his detection, if he wants to go for detection at all, will be very delayed. And there's the Starport proxied as well, so as you mentioned, he's going to fly in with a Widow Mine straight away.
Yeah, this, I mean, depending on if we see the robotics facility kind of fast in this game, is going to mean a massive difference between obviously not having it here. He's got no detection at all. He does not know what he's playing against.
Yeah, it's so hard. I mean, Mana didn't scout at all, and you usually don't scout against, or like for proxy locations. If it's not 11-11, then it's so rarely that the Terran is actually proxying something.
He's sending up a probe here to the top right. I imagine that's just for a potential pylon here, but he's actually squeezed in the robotics facility before additional gateways. That is very helpful here. Imagine if he got a second or third gateway or so.
Yeah, that would be...
We would have seen that SCV there. And if he was controlling the Xel'Naga tower, but he moved out of it.
Can he kill the the Reaper before it spots the Robo? I think it didn't really work out for him. No, he saw the Robo. So MMA knows that it might be hard to get damage done with a drop, but he's getting a third Widow Mine. How do you say it? Like, it doesn't really matter. Yeah, exactly.
But it's funny here because imagine if Mana's reactions on point here.
Yeah.
Doesn't see the medevac come into his minimap range, isn't reacting fast, he's going to lose probes, he's got to be very careful here. And he's just outside the vision range here of that robotics facility. He's going to boost in at the last possible moment. Is Mana going to react in time? And he will pull the probes just about. One probe sacrifices his life.
Good control there by Mana, pulling all his probes and getting a little bit lucky with the probe going back into the gas. So only losing a single probe. The Observer is being chrono boosted out. He had to use Photon Overcharge. And the third Widow Mine is actually walking towards the natural. So will Mana pay attention once more?
That is such a simple move if this works. Here we go. Hop, skip and jump to the mineral line. And Mana does pull off. We'll lose a single probe there. So very good defense there from Mana.
You have to give him credit for that. And good pick off there by MMA. Saves the Widow Mine. Gets away.
In a very typical MMA fashion there.
And now we have Blink. And that's exactly what you mentioned. This somewhat aggressive build order with like 3 gateways, Blink. But you still get a lot of economy behind it. So, and we were talking about this before the game. If you defend the Widow Mine drop... Okay, gets the Widow Mine. Can he get the medevac? Doesn't seem like it.
Blink is almost done here, just a few seconds. But yeah, as you were saying...
If you defend the Widow Mine drop and you have Blink Stalkers ready, it can be deadly for the Terran because their Stimpack is so late, and he actually got the medevac on top of the map.
Yeah, and he's taking a bit of damage on those 2 Stalkers, but yeah, did grab the medevac here. There is an Observer with this, so inside the main base is definitely vulnerable for the time being. There are double Tech Labs there, and Mana's going to swing around, and MMA is not in position currently. He's actually moving to the ramp. He's got 2 Marauders, and Mana blinks forward, and the Tech Lab does have Stim on it. It has Stim, and it is cancelled. A massive pickup there for Mana, and he is going to start to blink down, and it's a very good start to this harassment. Blink down. It's gone.
Yeah, he's going to warp in 3 more Stalkers. Keep in mind, it's only 3 gateways, so he can't really commit fully to it. But he will keep pressuring the Terran because he, as you mentioned, I mean, he doesn't know it was Stimpack. But whatever upgrade you cancelled, it always feels very good for you.
He's going to have a look at the front door now. Just a bit of damage here and blink backwards once again. And he is going to pick off a bunker here and a Marine. Nicely done there by Mana once again. And he's got the robotics bay now finishing up. Thermal Lance starting, 3 extra gateways. There is a funky Widow Mine on the other side of the map, just kind of...
He keeps building them as well. On the right side, there's one more close to the factory, so...
Oh god, Stim again! A second time, Stim gets denied here.
Definitely a small mistake by MMA not to have his units in position. I mean, obviously... second Stalker by... obviously, he doesn't have a second bunker, so... He has to be very careful how he splits his army. He gets the Observer. Brilliant scan there, so...
But unfortunately, he's, I mean, sure his medevac's right, but imagine if he had Stim right now, he'd be looking in quite a powerful position, but without Stim, he just can't really fight into 6 gateways. First Colossus is out, so there's not going to be any forward Stims at all towards potentially picking off that Colossus, and Mana's going to get this 3rd Nexus down at a very good time here in comparison to what MMA's is.
Okay, so let's make a bet. Will the Widow Mine connect on the Stalkers when they are running back?
Yes.
Yes, I think so too. It looks very funny. Oh no, and painful as well for Mana if he walks into the trap.
If he actually doesn't take damage here. Medevac's still going to stay out in the open.
He wants to chase down a few more Marines, scattering around the map, just for scouting purposes, obviously. The factory is flying back. As I said, there's another Widow Mine being built, so maybe he will load it into the Medevacs as well. And the Stalkers are getting close to the Widow Mine, and boom. Yeah, one Stalker dies.
Do you think the lack of forges is going to impact Mana's mid-game here?
Well, he will have a very big army, so whatever MMA throws at him should be defendable. But I'd say in the later stages of the mid-game, if the Terran has 1-1 or maybe 2-1, and you are lacking your second armor upgrade, I think you can definitely feel the difference. And Mana didn't see the army, right?
He's got an observer, he should do. He should do.
All the Stalkers were in the main base, so but just now he regrouped.
So this is going to be a little bit difficult. Stim still not done here. Good force fields to start this off. 2 Widow Mines get all the sentries! All the sentries gone. There's like 4 sentries there.
That was painful. And MMA once again with a hot pickup. The units that were being force fielded in were picked up.
Was that manual control there from MMA to target down the sentries? Because there was 2 or 3 zealots at the front.
No, one of the sentries was actually very far forward. And if one of them dies, the splash will actually kill the others. Nice concave there by MMA. He's going for the attack. He has a lot of medivacs, so he can pick up if he wants to.
Oh, there's some units from the left-hand side here. And the first Colossus is gonna get picked. No, yes, it does get picked off there. And then we do see a blink backwards from Man, and that was a very nice fight there from MMA in combination with the 3 sentry kills earlier. And even the last Colossus at the back.
Oh my god, this is so painful.
Oh, from looking in pretty good shape before those sentries died. That was definitely a U-turn here for Mana.
And this is without forges, so he had a rather big army supply. He's trying to go for a counterattack with 4 zealots at the 3rd base of the Terran. There's no bunker, but it's slow zealots. The SCVs will just run away. He might be able to pick off a few of them, but with a good reaction of MMA, he shouldn't be too much, yeah.
Oh dear, Mana's got a lockdown tight now, but this opens up a large amount of possibilities here for MMA, whether it be this, a random SCV pool that comes into this to capitalize on his advantage, whether he just plays out a normal game here. He has 2-2 on the way before the Forge is even complete. And the Colossus count got reset there as well.
Yeah.
So, not so good.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. 1-1 is on the way, as you mentioned, 2-2 for MMA. So Mana has to chrono boost, so he doesn't get too far behind. He obviously is already. He's getting charged. The Probe, I believe, will drop the Templar Archives very soon once he has the gas for it. Because Mana is usually the guy who gets like 3, maybe 4 Colossus and then switches into High Templars. And there we do see the Templar Archives going up.
Well, MMA is going to move forward now. He's got a supply advantage in army and workers currently. And he's going to move down into the center of the map here. Maybe look for an opportunity to take a fight. Doesn't really have a large Viking count, so it's not exactly going to be very easy for him to take a fight here. Maybe if he drops towards the natural ore. Well, it is well defended there by Mana. 2 cannons and a couple of zealots. Yeah, Observer is tracking this army.
Good scan once again.
No longer, though.
Yeah. And he's getting a second starport behind this, so he wants to deal a little bit of damage. I mean, if he can kill the Protoss, that's fine, obviously. But if not, he will have the backup plan, 4 Vikings at a time.
God, I don't think Mana's actually believe in MMA here. Well, I mean, we all saw the medivacs get picked up here. He blinks into the main base.
Yeah.
He's got to be very careful. There's 5 medivacs full of units here, 4 medivacs full of units. The Stalkers, they blink down! And Mana, who did see this load up, doesn't think that MMA would go for it because it was soaring. He's going to drop inside the main base, and the Forges are exposed here, the Templar Archives are exposed, the Nexus is exposed, the Stalkers get back in here. But then you've got the main army on the 3rd base as well.
Yeah, the Stalkers have no chance to fight against the Stim Marines.
+1 armor cancelled there.
Yeah.
And no Stalkers protecting his Colossus on the left-hand side. 4 get warped in. But a beautiful drop there from MMA, capitalizing on his position. Kills another Colossus. Yeah. And this is a game-winning drop.
And probably killing the last Colossus as well. The Marauders focusing on it. It barely dies. And both Forges died, and the Templar Archives, and the Nexus.
And the Twilight Council probably here as well. What a beautiful drop there by MMA. Mana blind on his right-hand side. No Observer, no Pylon, no Probe, no Zealot, no nothing. And Gamble not having all his units in the right positions here. And now he's paying the price.
Yeah, even though MMA is losing every single unit with his medivacs, he had such a good macro behind this. 160 supply again. He actually didn't build any Vikings with this, I believe. He just used the second starport to produce medivacs because he knew he's going to lose a lot.
Yeah.
3-3 on the way. The 4 CC, just flawless macro behind this. Ghost Academy is up as well, just in case if there are High Templars.
And there's a scan in the center, no Observer. Scan sees barely an army here. Yeah. And we are going to see MMA walk down here and probably pick up map number 1 here. He's got fantastic upgrades. There's very little units if any, for Mana. There's 0 splash damage here, and MMA is going to go in and going to take this quite convincingly here, and MMA is going to open up his first game, his first series of the day, with a victory. And Immortal gets picked off immediately, and Mana, who started well, makes a couple of mistakes, and MMA capitalizes and jumps to the lead.
Yeah, he punished him so hard for not being in position with his Observer, like 2 times. Like the first time was when the Widow Mines actually killed all the sentries. Then Mana chased and paid with 2 Colossus for a handful of bio. And then the second time when there was no Observer on the right time, I mean, MMA scanned them, so he was killing Division. Then there was like 5 Medivacs flying in, getting every tech structure, getting the Nexus, cleaning up most of the Stalkers as well, so...
I mean, let's talk about the move that pretty much won the game there, which was that big drop, more so than... I mean, of course, MMA gained an advantage, but that one just finished Mana off.
Yeah.
When you see a Protoss or a Terran army as a Protoss load up into Medivacs, then the Observer goes down, are you expecting that drop to still happen? Do you think he's just going to say, okay, no, I'm going to put everything down and then go for a frontal attack? Obviously, we can highlight the lack of Observers and vision to assist the decision, but what would you do if you're in that position?
I would say, if you don't lose your sentries and the 2 Colossus before, you definitely have to make the call, okay, if he drops, I have my Stalker in place and I have enough army at my 3rd. If the Terran is split up, I can defend both. But given the position Mana was in, having a rather small army, just like 12 Stalkers, 2 Colossus, a few Zealots and sentries, he had to make the call. Do I defend my 3rd, or taking the risk getting dropped? Or like, if I have my Stalkers at the drop, I will lose my 3rd for sure. And the way he split it up this time, he actually lost on both fronts. He lost all Colossus at the 3rd and everything in the main because the Stalkers were too late. It's just a very, very hard decision. But I guess having the Stalkers in the main would have been better.
In this case. But then if he'd lost his 3rd, we could have said he should have had his Stalkers on the 3rd.
Yeah, that's true. It's a very, very hard decision to make. And it comes all down to losing the 2 Colossus and the 3 sentries before, because it just... you lacked the firepower.
There, All right, game number 2. Merry-Go-Round, MMA's map choice. And the 3 maps that were selected down here in the bottom left is the Red Terran player playing for Team Acer. It's MMA. Of course, a 7-time StarCraft 2 champion. Won his first event back in 2011, an MLG, and then followed that up by the GSL win at BlizzCon. And up here to the top right-hand side is the blue Protoss player playing for Team Liquid. It's Mana, who in his career has played in 5 finals. One in 2010 was the DreamHack Winter Finals against Nama.
And he lost 2-3, I believe.
He did lose, yes. Lost 2-3 in the finals there. He played in 2 finals in 2011 without a victory. 2nd place twice, again, 3 seconds. And then 2012 was Mana's year, where he picked up DreamHack Summer 2012 and also ESWC shortly after as well. 2013 was a quiet year for the poll. Didn't adapt super well into Heart of the Swarm immediately, but he started to get back on track now. He's had 5 top 16s in the 2014 year and looking for his first top 8 potentially.
It's going to be rough though. If he wants to switch up his play a little bit, I think Merry-Go is a very good map for that. Given it's a tricky map overall, it's very hard to take a 3rd as a Protoss. You have some possibilities to jump in with Blink Stalkers. It's a 3-player map, so maybe the Terran scouts you last, so you can hide some stuff. It's definitely a map where you can switch up stuff. And just recently, when I was watching MC, like, he loves to do proxy Stargate on this map as well. There are definitely lots of possibilities for Mana if he wants to switch it up. But maybe he thinks, without mistakes, I would have been in a decent game.
Just a quick question that's off topic a little bit here. When you see a player, let's say Mana, for example, coming into this tournament ranked top 10 in Grandmaster, is that an indication of his form in recent times?
Well, obviously you have to play a lot to be top 10 in GM, because it's pretty hard to stay on the top in the GM. You need a decent amount of games. I wouldn't really say he's in... Because of that, he's in very good shape, but at least
just
he
more
plays.
So he's playing a lot right now.
He's playing a lot. That's at least what you can take out of that. But yeah, when I was talking to him, I think I already mentioned it. He said he had some very strict practice given for his group today, knowing the players, knowing the matchup, knowing the maps. And overall, he said he wasn't playing too much, but he feels good. So let's see what he has on Merry-Go here.
Yeah.
MMA, by the way, is getting a Reaper, and this time not proxying any factory or something.
No trickery
like
this time, no. Unfortunately, by the looks of the probe in the middle of the map here, he's going to miss the barracks scout just by a little bit here. The Marines should pop out in time to deny this.
Yeah, let's see if MMA pays attention, though.
Yeah.
Maybe he just released them. But it's MMA, so I guess he will...
It's going to be close.
Be able to kill the probe before. Nope.
No, he gets in there, just very, very, very closely there. But MMA, the two major times these two have played in the big tournaments was, of course, GSL way back when, where MMA won 2-0, and he also won 2-0 against Mana in the first WCS season in 2013. So he's got the two big wins against Mana. Looking at a potential third here with one game up. But Twilight Council again here, Hazobs.
I guess Mana realized that he was able to do some damage with it, but it came all down to the failed Widow Mine attack. So I hope he doesn't misread the situation and tries to do exactly the same build, because I believe if MMA has either Combat Shield or Stimpack at a certain point of the game, like not too late as it was on last game, then he will be able to punish Mana.
Yeah. It's funny to think that, isn't it? Without Stim for so long in that game, he was still able to do what he did. Combat Shield's first upgrade coming out from MMA here. He's going to move out with his first set of units, but it is one gateway, Twilight for Blink, then Robo. Obviously, the extra gateways would have been more useful in this particular scenario. Is Mana going to be okay here? Is he going to take a lot of probe damage? Are we going to see MMA Stim, or not Stim, but move into the mineral lines?
I think Photon Overcharge, and then you have to pull your probes if the Terran commits. If he doesn't commit, you use Photon Overcharge. I mean, you don't really want to use it, but you have to in this case, I believe.
Yeah.
And Combat Shield won't be ready. Either it's a little bit mistimed, or it's just not planned for this attack. I believe it's just not planned because it comes so early.
It's planned for the second one, apparently, yeah.
Definitely for the second attack. Does he get the Stalker? Yes. Good focus fire there by MMA.
MMA backs off. And in...
look at this.
Yeah, Reaper goes inside the main base here, gets a quick scout, but the second attack, a second Marauder and another 6 or so Marines. This time, no Photon Overcharge. This time, one Stalker down. Currently, one Stalker, one Sentry, without Photon Overcharge shortly.
You better start. You better start an Immortal and stop chrono boosting.
He's got
your
no
probes.
idea this is happening, though. The Observer's going to maybe give him some range. Two Stalkers get warped in. He is about 30 seconds away from Blink. But
if he misses the units with the Observer, it's...
Oh my golly gosh, he doesn't see the unit. Okay, so he sees the units now. Briefly sees the units. 3 Stalkers going to take the high ground for now. Another Stalker gets warped in, but still no Immortal. 1 Sentry. Photon Overcharge, 5 seconds away. And MMA's walking forward here. The probes are stuck around the back. One probe goes down. Where is he going to go? He does have a force field for the round. Waits. Turns around. Okay, Photon Overcharge on the natural is going to be activated here. 2 pylons are down here for MMA. And he's going to go around here. Blink is available, and he does jump inside the main base, and all the probes get away there.
Good reaction there by Mana. Saving his force field for a very long time. Only losing 2 probes, and I believe 1 or 2 probes, 2 pylons and 1 or 2 probes. Even saving the Stalker. So very well done by him. He does have the Robo Bay behind this, so Colossus production will start once he's out of the supply block, obviously.
Mana's going to try and get a little bit of damage done with his Blink Stalkers here. Hopefully could get something.
And the starport is pretty much delayed because of this. Will be finished around minute 10, so the Medivacs will be there like 1 minute later than it usually will be. And Mana has to get pylons.
Look at this right-hand side here. Mana's building an aggressive pylon, but spotted immediately here by MMA, who's also dealing with these Stalkers still at the north side. And good micro here from Mana, dealing out quite a bit of damage here, actually a lot of damage.
He will get every single unit. How many Stalkers will he lose? Wow, good control there. Still, wow. Just a single Stalker, I think.
For all those units here, well done there by Mana. He warps in 3 more Stalkers. His pylon on the right-hand side was spotted and stopped. And still only on 3 gateways. What is his plan here? I guess...
I'm not really sure if he wanted to be aggressive. Obviously, the pylon positioning was showing that he wanted to be aggressive, but he doesn't have the gate count yet.
Yeah, so I was waiting to see if he's going to throw any more down, but well, looks of it not. MMA snuck around this right-hand side with 5, 6 Marines.
Yeah, and they can do a lot of damage if they get into the mineral line, and there's no Photon Overcharge.
Well, there is a Colossus and a Sentry, so he should be okay here. Meanwhile, MMA is just powering up. 2nd Engineering Bay Armory. His 4th and 5th barracks were added just now, and 3rd Command Center on the way. MMA has a look, kills a probe, and backs off, seeing the Colossus here, and likewise Mana backs off from the other side of the map.
Yeah, he's so scared. He even jumped back with the Blink Stalkers.
No way!
Yeah, he's like, you with Medivacs already? But no, Mana. You can stay calm a little bit longer because the Medivacs just flying over to your base right now, so you have a little bit more time to get your Stalkers into position. But he's actually blinking to the left side, trying to chase down the Marines while the Medivacs are on the way.
Well, he's going to catch these Marines and should not lose a single Stalker here. And chase them down. 2 Medivacs inside the main base, though the more important part. They drop on the Twilight Council, and that is going to be gone. And what else, though? What's gone after that? That's a given. 1 probe. The other probes all pulled back. Colossus coming in here. 1 sentry down immediately. They pick up from MMA, and he does get out there. So a couple of probe kills and a sentry.
Can he intercept the Medivacs on the right side? The Stalkers are for a hunt right now. They're looking for it. Medivacs are still there, so maybe we will see an interception. But
they're on that high ground there. Mothership Core's not far away. Colossus coming to assist. Mana has not decided to check up there, so he will miss it. But MMA is going to march through the middle of the map now. He's got 1+1 attack only. 2-1 on the way.
Yeah, 2-1 on the way.
Second starport as well.
And the second starport with a reactor already attached. So if he doesn't take too much damage right now and he gets a little bit more time, I think he will be in a very, very good position. Mana completely skipped his forges once more.
He skipped the forges, yep. And he's also in the middle of the map with... Is he attacking here? Is he defending here? Where are you going, Mana?
I'm not 100% sure.
What are you doing?
It's very dangerous as well.
Yeah.
Like moving out like this. What happens if 3
He's only on
Medivacs...
50 probes, though.
Yeah, I think he wants to attack.
But now double forge comes in. I mean, is he going to try and break this third a little bit and then fall back?
It's only 2 Vikings, so he definitely has a window to attack, and I think he feels it, so
yeah,
he's
80
going
supply for MMA, 89 here for Mana. Can he equalize his series up? MMA spreading or moving to this right-hand side more, so spreading it is as he takes a position of fight. Time warp comes in, blink to the right-hand side, targeting on the Vikings. SCV's coming to the left-hand side here, but he's so close! The Colossus are right in front of the bio here. One's gonna go down, and then this is a great spread of units here for MMA, and he's marching forward towards that Colossus again. There's a lot of Marauders here. And Mana throws his army to the gutter.
Oh no, he was on move command. At least the Colossus have been on move command for a second. And he only had a single sentry. It's so hard to push with only a single sentry because you're lacking the force fields. Even though there are not many Vikings, the Terran will spread up so nicely as MMA did. And just like try to avoid the splash damage of the Colossus and then stim in from every side.
I think Mana can hold his natural here, but I'm not sure he can hold his third. And if he loses that, he's going to be in terrible position in this game. He needs to kind of do both, hold his natural and his third.
And his main.
And his main.
The Stalkers are placed in the main right now. He's afraid of a Doom Drop once more, which is a very, very strong tactic on Marigo.
MMA scans, sees no Stalkers with this army. I think he's going to take a fight here. Stalkers are coming back to defend. They're a little bit slow here. They do have Blink still available. One Colossus being targeted down, the second one as well. And Stalkers do come in to save the day. And both Colossus know one of them will fall here. And the second one shortly as well. But MMA gets up to the high ground, spreads his units thin here to minimize the splash damage from the Colossus. Even charges forward there. All of these units are going down. It's 2-1 upgrades for MMA, 0-0 for Mana. GG, MMA 2-0. And he's through to the winners match where he will face Golden for a first place position in today's group.
He made it look easy, I have to say. Mana, with some small mistakes in both games. And MMA completely punishing him for that. The 3 sentries, 2 Colossus into the big drop, not paying attention that there might be the drop on the way. And then on Marigo, he lost 1 sentry when MMA was doing the first small drop, like the Twilight Council and the sentry were the casualties. And then he decided to push out with only a single sentry. And the short move command on his Colossus actually, I think, cost him the whole fight. Or at least there was no way to win it anymore.
Yeah, that's a sad way to kind of lose, really, just by your own mistakes more so than not. But it is MMA who goes through in first place and continues his good form from the back, of course, that DreamHack Moscow or DramHack Moscow tournament victory that he picked up a week or so ago. And here he continues his good form. Will he go through in first place? Will he go to the deciders match? We'll have to find out a little bit later on. But before that, let's hear some words from MMA.
MMA, congratulations. A very straightforward 2-0 win. Coming into WCS this week, having won at DreamHack, what has it done for your confidence? I'd imagine that right now you're playing well and feeling great.
DreamHack을 우승하고 이제 WCS로 왔는데 그걸로 인해 좀 자신감이 좀 커졌는지.
뭐 자신감은 전이랑 똑같이 그냥 항상 대회라고 생각하면은 누구나 동등한 입장에서 한다고 생각을 해요. 왜냐하면 연습을 똑같이 하고 나오니까. 그래서 약간의 운도 좀 맡겼고 드림액도 그랬던 것 같아요.
Well, I didn't get any additional confidence because of DreamHack, because I think every pro gamer trains really hard before an important match. So I think it's about the luck you have on that day and yeah, how much you practice.
Okay. In terms of BlizzCon right now, I know that BlizzCon means an awful lot to you and that you really want to go, but explain it in your own words. What does it mean to you to play at BlizzCon?
이제 블리즈컨을 위해 이제 포인트도 모으고 잘 하고 있는데 블리즈컨에서 게임을 하는 게 이제 형한테 얼마나 중요한지 한번 설명해 주세요.
지금 블리즈컨은 제 이번에 마지막 거의 게이머 인생의 전부인 것 같고요. 그리고 네, 아직까지는 그래도 승자전인데 진출은 못했잖아요. 그래서 좀 좋아하기는 좀 일릴 것 같아요. 마지막에 진출해야 좀 마음 편히 얘기할 수 있을 것 같아요.
I think my career is like pretty much at the end, and so BlizzCon will be like the most important and biggest tournament in my career. So it's a really important tournament for me, but I don't want to say too much yet because I didn't qualify yet. So after I win, I'll be ready to tell you.
Okay, all right. In terms of the matchup against Mana, talk to us about your builds, your philosophy. What did you expect going into the match?
마나 선수 상대로 하는 걸 알게 됐을 때 무슨 준비와 무슨 마음가짐으로 경기를 임했는지.
일단 치즈러시를 굉장히 잘 막는 선수로 제가 파악을 하고 있어가지고 치즈러시는 좀 연습을 안 했고요. 좀 후반적으로 가면서 좀 유령 바이킹식으로 가려고 했는데 상대가 업그레이드가 너무 늦어가지고 그냥 중간에 끝난 것 같아요.
So when I analyzed Mana, I knew that he is a very good player and very good at defending cheese or all-in plays. So I actually prepared a very late game style, like going for Vikings, Ghosts, and all the big composition Terran. But actually, when I played the game, he was pretty late with his upgrades, so it didn't come to that.
Okay, thank you very much, MMA. Well done. Congratulations, you're through to the upper bracket final, and we'll see you play Golden. It's a player that you've played many times in practice. So how do you approach a match against Golden now?
골든 선수랑 이제 위너 매치를 하게 됐는데 많이 같이 연습도 하고 친한 선수인데 그럴 때 이제 좀 어떤 마음가짐으로 하는지 친한 선수랑 할 때.
명환이가 슬레이어스 때부터 정말 오랫동안 알고 지내던 동생인데 뭐 동생이고 나발이고 그냥 제가 두드려 패고 올라가겠습니다.
Well, I'm really good friends with Golden, and I played with him since Slayers. But yeah, and he's a really good like little brother to me. But for now, little brother or what? It doesn't matter. I'm going to beat him up.
Okay, well, good luck in your game against Golden. It's a game of friends, but I guess a game of enemies just for the match that they play in. We're going to take a quick break now, but when we come back, we'll have the bottom half of the bracket where two men are fighting for their lives to stay in the tournament. It's Welmu versus Mana after the break. Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League, round of 16. We're into Group C. Two of our opening games are done and in the history books, and we have the upper bracket final we thought we might have. But before we get there, let's just check in with the bracket and show you where we're up to so far this evening. You've already missed our opening two matches, which saw both of the Europeans going down, unfortunately, and down to the lower bracket. And, of course, the two Koreans, the two ex-Slayers players, the two sons of boxers. No, sons of boxers. I don't know if you can do that plurally. I'm not even sure boxers are allowed to have two sons. Definitely one of them, MMA, going up against a former teammate and good friend in the upper bracket final, MMA. That's going to happen a little bit later on. We're going to focus firstly on the lower bracket, where these two players are fighting for their survival in this competition, Walmu and Mana. I'm going to say this, as harsh as, and I hope Gregor's not listening right now, I expected Mana to be in this position. I might not necessarily have expected Welmer, but what do we get now is a PvP. And we know that anything can happen now. Literally anything can happen.
Well, we saw Welmu already build a lot of his WCS success on actually doing very well in PvP in the past couple of seasons, with him being here. And then Mana, likewise, you know, has had some good PvP in the past as well. So both of these going into this series, I think, certainly have a shot. I don't think it's like really weighted in favor of one or the other.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the way that they match up against each other, there's nothing in it really. It's 7-4 right now in favour of Welmu in terms of maps, 4-2 over matches. They played plenty of matches between them.
Yeah.
6 in all. So can't really read too much of that. Plus, as you've rightly said, Welmu's PvP has actually been very, very good in the past. It's easily his best matchup statistically. It's always been his best matchup when he's been in WCS. And when he's been in trouble, it's the one that he kind of falls back to get himself out of that hole. Yeah,
and when it's come to the people that have put the road to an end for him when it comes to PvP in WCS, it's been the big hard-hitting Koreans that have done
Koreans,
it.
yeah.
So
people like San.
MCs, and San
MC as well. Yeah, and in terms of Mana, like we spoke a little bit earlier on about how he's, you know, it's been a long time. 689 days ago, in fact, he won the Electronic Sports World Cup. It was the last time he won a Premier tournament back in 2012. Is it, I don't want to be mean to him again, but is it just the quality of the players coming to events has gone up since then? Or is it, you know, how would you assess his previous achievements in the context of today?
Mana had this kind of recession period where, you know, he had such great results before, was contending for that top 4 on a spot, then had this kind of slump where he wasn't really doing too much. But it feels like the transition over to Team Liquid has kind of rekindled what he lost a little bit in that. Of course, it's not fully back to the form that he would previously had or would want now, but he's getting there. He's getting there, and I think, you know, he was also previously in the round of 16 as well as now. So that's good steps for him to get back to where he was eventually. And 2015 could be completely different.
Yeah, could be a completely different kettle of fish. He has 4 appearances in the Premier League, up against the man who has 5 appearances in the Premier League. So pretty even. Joking around right now, and Welmu having removed Foxtrot, Catalina removed by the Liquidian in blue. And I'm guessing this is going a fairly similar way to most map vetoes. Deadwing will probably fall out of the way. And what do you think? Merry-go-round, Nimbus?
I mean, in PvP, mirror matchup, it doesn't really make a massive difference. It does depend on, I guess, like the size of the maps, if you're going to proxy something, if you're going to be a little bit cheeky yourself, as well as, you know, the ability to actually get over to your opponent's base quickly. 4-player maps cause a lot of volatility, more so than others, or 3-player maps as well, since we have a few of those in. So there you go, that's why those disappear. It's a good reason.
Nimbus left in, so we might get that, I guess, maybe as the 3rd, but I don't know, I might fancy a little bit of something funky. Yeah, okay, so let's do that first then, says Welmu. He quite likes Nimbus. I've watched him on a number of occasions. Actually, he played on the first time against Golden, of course, on Nimbus, and had that terrific win on the Swarm host. So he does like the old Nimbus quite a lot. Overgrowth 2nd, King Sejong will be the 3rd if we need it. A funky couple of guys, aren't they? Having some fun over there. They don't seem perturbed about the fact that they've dropped down and this is Last Chance Saloon, do they?
They're 2 of the smiliest Protoss I know, so maybe outside of Stardust, because Stardust never actually does anything other than smile. But
we're going to call him Smile Dust from now on.
It can go that way. It can go that way. But I think as this is going to play out, as much as, you know, they are very, very heavily, they're very well pitted against one another, I would still give a little bit of an edge to Welmu, even though Mana had a very good series against Bling in the round of 32, which, if I recall, was pretty aggressive from Mana.
I think all these games, when you watch the round of 32, were very funky, to say the least. They were either overly aggressive or a bit weird in some way, and he definitely had a fun round of 32. His games against 4GG in particular were very different as well. I know it's obviously a different matchup right now, but when it comes down to it, we know PvP can be a little bit of a flip coin situation. Are you expecting the same for this one, or do you think they'll play a little bit more for the long game?
If Welmu has anything to say about, I mean, Welmu, yes, can go for aggressive builds himself, but I feel that Welmu probably is better versed when it comes to the long game. So if he wants to push it longer, then that could go well. Mana, meanwhile, is ever the aggressor, and we've already seen him like Blink a lot, even today in a different matchup. But we normally see quite a lot of that from him. Maybe he'll go down that route.
Do you think he has to in this game? I mean, we know that Welmu is very good mid to late game, so does Mana approach this and think, do you know what, maybe the best chance I have is for a little bit of cheese here, a little bit of fun early on?
I'll go out on a bit of a limb and say that maybe he does, because Welmu is able to hang with some of the best of them in the Europeans, and of course they have knocked him out, as we said before, in WCS Europe, but it's given him a lot of wealth of experience against these big, hard-hitting Protoss in later stages of Protoss versus Protoss that's helped him out.
Okay, first game assessments for both these players. Welmu, I think you could argue that the second game he probably should have lost, but the first game he probably should have won, so I guess that balances it out a little bit. What did you make of his macro and his micro in that first match?
Good overall. I mean,
you didn't see anything sloppy, didn't see anything that you thought maybe he'd done better in the past?
The thing is he kept making cool decisions to always keep harassing, always trying to keep Golden down. We're on about overgrowth here, right? Yeah. But in the end, I don't know, the small moments that he missed, which are very, very hard to pick up on, obviously, because you don't know if there is you're expecting there to be a hive back there. You're expecting extra Vipers to be in play as opposed to just one throughout the entire composition. So it's very hard to read into. Maybe the Oracle's revelation could have tried to hint onto that. It's like, wait, well, why is there only one Viper here for so long? But overall, you know, just a kick in the butt.
All right, final thoughts collected. Time for predictions. Which way is it going? Your fantasy team's doing all right now. Not as good as Apollo's.
Not as good as Apollo's.
If you haven't played, fantasy.eslgaming.com right now, and you can play. It's a bit too late to try and beat someone like Apollo, who is 7th right now on the list. And I think he might just be first after tonight.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. You're not quite as high as that, and I'm definitely not as high as that, but you've been pretty good with the predictions so far.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
You said that I'd mentioned Mana as my choice for this group. But
well, you by
default.
default.
Yeah, because we all had to pick one person, apparently.
Well, no, it was just that I'd gone with Welmu, Sean had already gone with Golden, and Hasselhoff said MMA, and I was like, well, that only leaves Mana for
Don't tell him that I was left with Mana.
Oh, well.
Anyway, so I picked MMA overall.
Yes.
A lot of people have picked MMA overall.
Yes. But in terms of this matchup, Welmu or Mana?
I got to go with Welmu.
Okay, experience not counting in this one. We're thinking that the youngster might steal it away. Hard to imagine, though, that both of these players are just 20 years of age. How the hell did that happen to Mana? He's been around forever. Time now for our deciding game in the lower bracket. One of these goes home. One of them advances on to play another Korean for the final place in Group C. Let's find out who it'll be with Hasselhoff and Apollo.
Thank you very much once again, Red Eye, and welcome to the commentary desk, where I'm joined by professional Protoss player Mouse Sports Hasselhoff, and you are going to break down this PvP. Excellent for us, aren't you?
I try my best.
I'm sure you will. This is going to be, and sadly, one of our Europeans getting knocked out from Group C here. One is going to be eliminated. One will get the chance to play the decider, which means they will go up against the loser of either MMA or Golden in our 5th game of the evening. But before we get into that, talk to us about your experience with these two players in their respective PvP departments.
Welmu has crazy PvP. I remember him of one of the most scariest European Protosses to play in PvP. While Mana, I think he has very, very good control. It's definitely something you need in PvP. But he's not as scary as Welmu to me. Whenever I played Mana, I was like, okay, I can beat this guy. But when I played Welmu, I was like, oh, this is going to be so hard. And he always taught me a lesson, like how to play PvP. And actually, I copied a lot from him as well, overall. So, but we recently looked up his stats, and he looked a little bit weaker in his PvP the last...
Welmu, that is, yeah.
Welmu, the last 4 months or something. While Mana always had solid PvP, very micro-based, I would say. With Blink Stalkers, Colossus, very good control, good time warps when needed. And yeah, that guy, he knows all the dirty tricks as well, by the way. Like 4-player maps, he scouts cross first, trying to mess you up with that. Things like that is something Welmu likes to do.
Better overall stats here for Wellmu, better WCS rank, better percentage versus Protoss, and also the lead head-to-head over the years. 4 wins in favor of Wellmu over Mana, but recently they played in Who's the Best European tournament, where Mana 2-0'd Wellmu just 2 weeks ago. You think that'll play a fact into a bit of this game, because they played so close?
It could be, but I wouldn't really overrate that in PvP. Every time, like, if we play today, I might beat you 2-0, and tomorrow you can beat me 2-0. Everything is possible. It's a lot about choosing the right build orders, having the right mindset in PvP, and not having a mental block against your opponent, I would say.
Well, who goes home, who gets an opportunity to fight against one of the Koreans in the decider game? Let's find out up here to the top left-hand side. Playing for Team Liquid, it's Mana. Over the years was considered one of the best Protoss players in Europe, slightly off that mark nowadays, but down here a player who's definitely up there as one of the best Protoss players in Europe. In the blue, playing for Team Neurosoft, it's Wellmu. Finland versus Poland.
Yeah, oftentimes you forget about Wellmu when you talk about all the good players in Europe. Wellmu is oftentimes not on the radar, playing for a not unknown team, but not really a big one either.
Yeah. Only really competes in WCS, doesn't really compete in that much else.
Yeah. But he's always a very, very dangerous player. So Nimbus is the first map, 4 players map, which can lead to a very weird game, like with 1 base, openings, stuff like that is definitely possible, because it's very hard to scout your opponent if you are unlucky, and it's cross position. So unless Wellmu sends the probe cross map first, they won't find each other on the first position. So it can be very hard to scout.
Which are some of the more common strategies then on Nimbus?
Everything is possible, I would say.
Okay.
Maybe not Blink so much, because I wouldn't really do that on Nimbus. I mean, you can even jump into the natural from the edge, but I don't think it's that strong, to be honest. But everything else definitely possible. Some kind of DT, some kind of 1-gate robo expand. Stargate is definitely a very solid option as well. So yeah, let's see. Let's see once the Cyber Core is done, because then we all know what we will see here.
Well, Wellmu with a slightly earlier scout here. Looks like he should be able to get in. Well, he will get inside the main base and see what Mana's up to. We'll see if Mana can actually get inside or not. Should be able to make it just about, I think, but we'll see as it gets closer and closer. But because of the earlier scout here, Wellmu is just a few seconds behind when it comes to his structures here compared to Mana. Dedicating a couple of resources away from mining, of course, with the probe leaving earlier. And inside the probe goes.
Both have 3 probes on each gas. They were filling them up slowly. Mana's getting a 2nd gate.
Spotted immediately here by Wellmu.
So will it change his decision to do anything? I would say no. Is he? No, never mind. I thought the probe would die. I was just hearing the noise. Like
unfortunately, that was Wellmu's probe doing that. But Mana also gets inside the main base. Sees a single gateway and the Stargate at the back there.
So Wellmu didn't care of the Stargate being scouted, even though he saw 2 gateway. I mean, he will have 3 Stalkers in position to kill any Oracle, or at least chase it. And even some kind of pressure might be annoying for Wellmu here, because he has to... Like, his Stalker will be much later than Mana's.
And the probe now being targeted down.
He wants to confirm the Stargate. He wants to see it once more. Can he? Oh, I think he wasn't in range.
No, he didn't spot that there.
That's very annoying, because now you can't be 100% sure. Did the guy cancel it, or did he not do that? So that's very annoying for Mana.
And Wellmu's had a probe hidden inside the main base all this time, and actually has a quick look inside there. Sees Crudibus in the gateway. Doesn't see any other structure around the back there, where there are 2 pylons, bear in mind. So if it was going to be anywhere, it would have been there. And he pokes up, sees no natural, so he knows that a bit of pressure is on his way. And what is his return here? It's going to be the robotics facility, while the Oracle sneaks around here. Photon overcharge just about ready.
Can he sneak the Oracle out without the Stalker being like spotting the Oracle? Looks like it, yeah. But of course, Mana will have the Mothership Core at home, just in case if the Oracle flies in. But then he has to use the overcharge very early on, and all the Stalkers are on the map, so it can be tricky afterwards to defend against the Oracle.
And he has chosen the faster expansion here. Wellmu playing a little bit safe with the robotics facility coming in, but the Oracle's almost over there. It's across the halfway point now. Mothership Core is in position. He's got to be fast here when he triggers the Photon overcharge, otherwise probes will go down.
But
Robotics facility as well for Manet.
He's controlling his Stalkers right now, so maybe he will be a little bit late on the overcharge. We will see the
Oracle. The Oracle,
in.
1 probe, 2 probe. He's going to get a couple here. Just 2, but at the other side of the map, we did see a Stalker being picked off. I think 3 Stalkers versus 1. I think it did die. No, now it dies. Now it dies. And
exactly.
Photon overcharge activated. Immortal on the way here, as well as the expansion. With a very close game, but the Oracle still being alive. It's going to be a big threat.
Can he chase down the Stalkers if the Immortal pops? I think Mana has to run away. He shouldn't stay any longer. There's a sentry as well, so if the... he actually is greedy and tries to go for the sentry. Will he get the reward? Yes, he does. He will lose 1 Stalker in the process, though.
1 Stalker for 1 sentry.
The Oracle is still around. Mana did get some Stalkers in his main base. He's adding a 3rd gateway. Should probably get the Observer very soon as well. But he's chrono boosting his probes. I like that.
1. Just 1 this time. Oh, no, just 1.
A little bit unlucky there.
Nope. Just 1, so 3 in total now for the Oracle. But the game moves on at a very similar rate. I mean, there's not a big difference between the 2 players now.
Yeah, that's true. Both have their Nexus up. Both are chrono boosting their Nexus. Wellmu just started that. Slightly earlier Forge for Wellmu, though, and that's something you always have to look out for in PvP. The upgrades, especially the attack upgrade, obviously, is very, very important. Obviously, both will continue to build a few Immortals. And then the question is, will they transition into the Robo Bay? Or like just Charge Lord, High Templar, very quick 3rd. Maybe a War Prism being mixed. There are lots of follow-up in PvP since Heart of the Swarm.
The Oracle's got 4 kills in total. No Immortals yet from Manet. He's just about to finish it up with a pylon. Does he start one now? He's got a lot of gas in the bag. 600 gas here.
That's very interesting that not a single Immortal has been started. I think he wants... It's very late, but he starts one, while Wellmu already has 2 done. Most likely will add a 3rd to the composition, I believe. They both have... No, actually, Wellmu completely forget about building sentries here. So he doesn't have any kind of hallucination scout. Obviously, he has the Oracle to scout.
Just now 2 getting warped in.
Yeah, that's a little bit late, though. So...
But there's no super big difference between the both of them here, and that kind of means that there's no opportunities that either player could go for a win, of course, or an attack, which would suggest that this game, is going to go on for a while.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Given that it's cross-position as well, Immortals and Sentries, it takes a while to walk over the Mothership Core as well. The Oracle is hovering around, so Mana doesn't really want to leave his base.
Right.
There's a pause. Both are getting the Twilight Council behind this, so they are setting up for the later stages of the game, getting +2, probably adding a 3rd Nexus very soon as well.
Yeah, just setting up. So we did see the intricacies of the early game there, the different types of openers kind of hitting up against each other, but nobody really came out massively ahead of the other, quite similar. As looks like Wellmu is ready to continue on. Just a slight pause there, slight hiccup, but back into it immediately we are. How fast can you take a 3rd here? Can you take the 3rd off the back of what we have with 3 gateways apiece? Is it not too greedy to do that? What do you do in this position?
You can be greedy. I think in Wellmu's position, though, you shouldn't do that because he doesn't have the full scout anymore because his sentries are so late, so he doesn't know, did my opponent already add the gateways or not? Because if you take the Nexus and your opponent already added the gateways, you might run the risk of dying to an attack. If it's the other, like if both get the gateways, it's fine, no one can die. But if someone tries to be greedy, it can be very risky, and both are adding the gateways right now.
And both have just picked up some massive scouts on each other as well. All the gateways have been added on for both sides, and both of them spotted it too. Mana, Hallucinated Phoenix, and Wellmu with the Oracle. And it looks like both are going to probably take that 3rd now, as Wellmu's probe does go down. Faster +2 coming here for Wellmu. He's also concentrating on that chrono boost on that Forge. He's starting to pull away a little bit with that attack upgrade compared to Mana. I know Wellmu did have a slight advantage with the construction of that Forge, but it wasn't that big. It's a good 60, 70 seconds ahead now.
Yeah, that's true. And he constantly, as you mentioned, is chrono boosting it. He's still chrono boosting it. Both are getting the Templar Archives with their army composition, so no Robo Bait for now. Mana did get a Prism, if I'm not wrong.
No,
yeah.
yes.
There's a Prism with 2 Immortals in there. I wanted to say interesting, but
is it good? Because
yes.
Wellmu's played against... not Wellmu, so Mana's played against a player who's gone for a Stargate, so it's just a single Phoenix can stop this quite hard, surely.
Definitely, but he found out that there is no Phoenix on the map yet. So I believe he will pick off like a Pylon and maybe 2 probes, so 3 probes, and then he backs off because he knows he will start a Phoenix. And the War Prism, to have it around is always good. And by the way, Welmu, if we go into his vision, he has a very, very good vision of the map right now.
Yeah, and I think he spotted this movement out as well at the same time. 2 Immortals at the front door here. And this is a big play for Mana, actually, because when the Mothership Core's coming down, he doesn't have that many units here, but if he was somehow able to find position on that third base while harassing with the Immortals here, it would be huge. I mean, obviously killing the third is massive.
Yeah, that's a very, very nice move by Mana. Also good focus by, he got like 5 probes, a pylon. He's warping in a lot of stuff in the middle of the map. But Welmu saw the army moving out, right? Okay.
Yeah, and he sees the pylon being built in the middle. Very careful to his third here.
Losing the forward pylon, but he still has 2 more on the map. Probe is still alive. Welmu has a decent army, but the rocks are still there. It's very annoying to walk around there, as we can see. He tries to find a good position now.
It's going to be hard to break into this, I think. Both players so similar, and that's why actually Welmu's got a larger army current. He does have that +2 advantage as well.
Not for long, though. It's only 10 seconds away for Mana. If
but
the
the economy is huge difference, though. 57 probes for Mana, 44 for Welmu.
Yeah. Very long economy hold, and he obviously lost a few. A nice drop once again into the natural. Mana's playing this beautifully.
Yeah, this is really good. Just holding position outside that third base while swinging in with the Warp Prism here. And that's a big warping as well. But Welmu's had enough. He actually moves forward here. And is Mana ready to take this fight? He backs off. Both of them back off.
Almost the feedback on the Mothership Core. Mana warped in a single High Templar to snipe the Mothership Core. The drop has been cleaned off, but no, actually he loaded it up. He will go on into the main base now. And he forces Welmu to go all in, I believe.
Welmu's just going for it here. This is all or nothing coming out from Welmu. He's down in supply. The supply advantages where the army is in favor of Mana, and Mana's all he's got to do is kind of set up defensively right now. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of probes killed in this game by that Warp Prism. Here is the final attack coming in. Time Warp goes down.
Very early, though.
Is he going to be able to take a good fight? There's quite a few Immortals in here for Welmu. And he is chasing this army down. Okay, here turns around the fight. And there is the Photon Overcharge, and the fight takes place. Is he going to be able to break through this? There's a lot of units, and of course, Warpins coming in here from Mana. And he pushes that back, and there's no meat at the front of that, apart from these Archons, who obviously don't want to lose their lives too fast in this engagement.
Yeah, Mana sniped down the Warp Prism with his Archons in the Nexus during the fight, the Photon Overcharge. So Welmu basically had no straight reinforcements, only with his pylon. And given the amount of Archons and Zealots, I think Mana will survive here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to survive, and surviving is winning in this type of game, especially when you killed off so many probes, and Welmu's attack is not going to work. Good game is called, and Mana goes up 1-0 here against the Finn.
That looked like a very, very solid PvP by Mana. Taking the small opportunity with the Immortal drop into 4 Zealot drop, completely throwing Welmu off the game. Like, he had no defense at his natural twice, taking a huge amount of losses on his probes, and feeling the pressure on his third as well, like forcing him into an all-in after that. So definitely small hiccups by him in the defense, even though he had such a good map control with all the pylons, the Oracle around and stuff like that.
So what was it that went wrong there for Welmu? Was it the way that he dealt with that specific scenario? Should he have dealt with it better? Should he have made a Phoenix as soon as he knew what was going on?
Definitely.
Should he have split his army up? What's some of the things that can be highlighted for him to do better in that kind of scenario?
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, he has to handle it way better. It's okay to lose, let's say, like 3 probes, maybe a pylon, or maybe some of the structures that is on the outskirt of your base. But he had the Stargate, and I guess he forgot about it, because making a Phoenix is pretty cheap. You chrono boost it once, it will pop out, you can chase down the Warp Prism, and then the second attack with the Zealot is not happening.
Yeah.
And especially the second attack with the Zealot was forcing him into a situation that he felt like, okay, I have to go now. Now or
never.
Yeah, now or never.
Yeah.
So it was definitely not defending very well against the Warp Prism,
and
costing him the game.
I mean, the difference of probe count between the both of them, Mana just continuing to probe behind that attack as well. He didn't necessarily have the largest army at that point, but he had position, and he was throwing a lot of his money into furthering his economy. And, Welmu had halted that and stopped and had got this army ready to attack, and then he couldn't attack.
Yeah.
Unfortunately there for Welmu, Mana, very, very nice moves from the pole. But game number 2 is upon us. It is going to be Overgrowth. Will this be a 2-0? Or can Welmu fight back? Up here to the top right-hand side as the red Protoss player, currently leading 1-0, playing for Team Liquid. It's Mana. A change of game quality from one series to the other, if we ignore the opponent. And then down here to the bottom left-hand side is the blue Protoss player needs to win this, or he will be eliminated in the round of 16 for the first time in a long time. It's Welmu. And Welmu hasn't lost in the round of 16 since Season 3 last year. He's had a clean first year in 2014. Season 1 and Season 2, top 8s.
Yeah, very good, or very solid performance overall by him in the WCS Europe. So on Overgrowth, none of the players is going for any kind of proxy gate so far, and we will see if they actually check for that in their main base. At least in the main base, you should check for that right after you pop the gateway. And Mana is doing that, while Welmu is playing a little bit stubborn here, not doing that.
No.
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 And as a small reminder, the IEM Katowice, the grand finals, when CJ Hero was playing against SOS, he got proxy gated twice in a row. And on the third map, he still didn't scout, so it would have worked 3 times in a row. But yeah, not this game though.
And his Mana is taking proper scouting measures here. Checks inside the main in triple locations, and then of course swings around to the natural as well.
I like it, it's nice. Play it safe, you're ahead 1-0, you basically won the game from an even point. I mean, he was slightly ahead because of the earlier Nexus, but it wasn't anything big, and the upgrade was in favor of Welmu, so I'd say the game was very even, but the War Prism drop really turned his favor, and he was just winning the game from there on. So why not take it the same way this time? Scout for any kind of pylons or whatever is being hidden on the map. And the second gateway this time for Welmu. Could be a 3-gate. Let's see.
And Welmu once again, well not once again, sorry, but Welmu does have a 5-6 second advantage on that 5-minute score, if it means anything at all in this game, by not scouting again with that probe. Whereas Mana did have that position previously. We see the Mothership core straight away here, but an extra chrono boost into the Nexus and another one into the Nexus here from Mana too.
Yeah, so maybe we'll see 3-gate from Welmu. It has been scouted, so it shouldn't really work if he commits to that. But it could be a trickery as well, just showing the chrono boost on the warp gate, scaring your opponent, and then switch up completely, maybe dropping a Nexus or some kind of tech structure.
Mana hanging around for as long as possible there. Stalker pops out there, and he's already gone. But Mana's chosen 1-gate Twilights.
Is it DTs? It could be DTs, given what he saw. It's like, okay, if you commit to the 3-gate, I will have DT. I will survive at home long enough to get my DTs out, and you will die because you won't have a detection. Unless, while Musama has the feeling, okay, it's going to be DTs, I drop the robo anyways. Like, I don't fully commit, but I drop the robo.
Nice micro there from Mana hiding in the bush.
Yeah, does he get
Pops
one?
Out.
Yeah, 3 damage.
Yep.
Hooray!
But a funny play from Welmu here, just doesn't matter what's going on, has chosen this from the get-go. Didn't scout, doesn't care. Probe moving up, which is a fantastic find here by the Mothership core.
Oh my god.
Fantastic find there, and the pylons drop very far away. He's going to have to pull another probe down there. Blink is the choice from Mana. And how well is Welmu going to execute this? He's believing in himself, otherwise he wouldn't have just gone for this blindly and of course just in the open to what Mana's seen.
And the Stargate as a follow-up. It's not quite a robo, but it provides you detection as well. But his pylon is so far away, and he didn't send out a second probe.
And all Mana does need is time here, because that blink upgrade is everything in this game. He's got the photon overcharge available. He's even got a sentry popping up now as well. And if Mana gets to blink, and obviously Welmu's units are on this side of the map in similar numbers, we all know that that's going to heavily favor Mana. Stargate is on the way, though. Maybe if we can squeeze out an Oracle and try to squeeze it into the main base, try to do some damage that way.
Welmu will get a very good scout with his Mothership core, though. While on the other hand, I think there's a probe moving into the main base of Welmu soon. He sees the Robo, he sees the Twilight Council, but he has to recall.
Oh, wow. That's obviously not going to aid his defense here, and I think that Mana's probably going to do the old Classico, leave the Mothership core at home in case of any follow-up, and then just go for it. His pylon's been spotted outside and will be cancelled. Blackwell's with a probe, and funny enough, I think we can call that a slight mistake there from Mana. Just putting a little bit too overly eager, Mana.
Like, pylon as a nexus, like right on the nexus spot.
You definitely could have had it a little bit further back, of course. To,
behind the natural is usually where you want to place it, or maybe at the third.
So it is just going to be a nexus here.
That's a good call. Yeah, it's a good call. Yeah. He made sure that Welmu has no nexus, and that Wellmu can't scout him right now because he's killing the Zealot in the top left and he killed the Pylon. He doesn't know about the Oracle yet, but now he knows with the Pylon spread.
And
Beautiful
also,
play.
you know, with losing the Mothership Core as a Protoss player, you got to be like, oh my god, and Mana's just expanding, which I think is, as you said, a good reaction here. Photon Overcharge at a good time, and only a single probe is killed today.
Yeah, once again.
He's getting ready for the catch here. Mana, he's pulling the stops today.
But the Oracle sees it. He has Blink, of course.
Oh, wow. Mana.
Oh, just think of being in Wellmu's shoes right now. This is horrible. You lose your Mothership Core for free. You lose the Oracle for free. Your 3-gate did nothing at all.
Yeah.
I mean...
And this guy's got Blink to still go on and harass me a little bit if I'm out of position. So not a good start here for Wellmu. Not a good series for him.
Luckily for him, there's no Pylon nearby, because I think Mana could actually turn on the pressure very hard here.
Funny you say that. He's sending out a probe, so I think he may realize he has a chance to do damage here.
It's a little bit late, though, because I think the second Immortal will be finished, and more importantly, the Nexus will be done. So he has the possibility of Photon Overcharge. Picks off the Sentry, though. Very nice.
Mana is starting Immortal production. He's got no Forge, and we do see that there from Wellmu.
But he has to survive, and that's his main priority. Move command there for a few seconds on Wellmu's Stalkers.
There's the Pylon just outside this natural. And Mana's continuing on to blink his way to victory here, potentially. Another Stalker gets picked off. Photon Overcharge is ready, and there is going to be a second Immortal soon.
He has to, he's forcing him to use the Photon Overcharge. You don't really want to use that right now in the phase of the game, because you never know, there might be some kind of Warp Prism around and things like that.
Is Mana going to commit to units here? Yes, he is. 2 sentries get walked in, going to start to cut these units up. And he blinks into the main base. Wellmu did not expect it. He wasn't quite in position. He does turn around, though, and no damage was taken, luckily. Well, as I say that, he does bring a Stalker down to 25 hit points. And he's building units in the Immortal, and 2 other sentries coming down from there as well. Imagine if he gets a force field on the ramp, he blinks in, the army goes up, force field in the ramp.
Yeah, even 2 force fields right next to the Nexus will be able to block off the Immortals and Mana.
Careful, Wellmu.
Press the all-army key. Everything is coming.
Wellmu, you're out in the open, and 3 force fields come down, and the Immortal is trapped there, and a blink forward it will get picked off, which means 1 Immortal and 3 Stalkers, and Wellmu. It looks like Mana's in fantastic shape to take this series 2-0. He's going to go for it here. The Time Warp is available as well. He catches the second Immortal, and just like that. And Mana, wow.
He made it look easy. Just like MMA in the games against Mana. That was some very good PvP. He got a little bit lucky, but that's how it is in PvP, like trapping the probe with the Mothership Core. Obviously, Wellmu didn't send out a second one, which really surprised me, because I think if you are on 3-gate with Chrono Boost on the Warp Gate, you have to commit a little bit more. Especially when your Mothership Core is out in the nowhere as well. Like, you're committed anyways. If the Oracle flies in, you lost the game.
Yeah. Very unfortunate series there for Wellmu, who, finishes his year, strong, I think we can call it. 2 top 8 performances in Season 1 and Season 2, and of course around a 16 finish here in Season 3. And I'm sure we'll see him back next year to compete once again in the World Championship Series. But we are done with Wellmu for this year in the WCS. He will be competing at DreamHack next week, or this weekend as well. So we'll see some more of him before the year finishes up. But it is Liquid Mana who gets a chance to get potential revenge against MMA, gets a chance to play versus Golden, gets a chance to finally, maybe, go through to the round of 8 for the very first time. God damn it, Golden! What are you doing? Yeah, well done to Mana. Very, very solid set of 2 games there from him. Let's hear some words.
Thank you very much, Sean. Yes, it's all right. Mana's just winding me up off camera, as he's prone to do. Very happy, obviously, after that win. Just absolutely flawless play in both maps. And talk us through. Map 1, similar builds. Everything seemed to be fairly even. He was slightly up on upgrades, actually. But the drops, the double Immortal drop was what really started to open up the map. What made you think about it? What made you do it?
Because he was looking very greedy. Like, when I scouted with my Phoenix, and hallucinated Phoenix, he had only like a Zealot and an Immortal, and he started to add up tech. I'm like, okay, he's going to cut corners, it's a good map for macro and so on, so I will do some harassment. He could prevent that, because if he makes 1 Phoenix from the Stargate, then it's completely neglected, but well, I saw an opportunity and took it.
Yeah, I mean, Hasselhoff said the same thing. He said one Phoenix, and it's all back to even again. Were you surprised?
Not much, because I killed a sentry, I killed a stalker in the beginning. The Oracle was kind of annoying, so he had to use a lot of gas to his tech and so on. So additional Phoenix, as much, I mean, it's only 100 gas, you can say, but it's time of the mining of the gas and time of the building of the Phoenix and so on. So it was just not worth it. He had to cut some corners to get back to the game after I had a pretty good opening.
Yeah, definitely, very good opening indeed. Second map, flawless. I mean, just everything that you wanted to go right went right. I mean, could it have gone any better?
I was expecting him to go for the frigate. I think he had frigates, so I defended that rather easily after sniping the probe, which was a little bit lucky. But I know the pathway of the probe. If he could, maybe he could go from the left side. That maybe he could run away, but he didn't. So it was good for me. I did not expect the Oracle though, but I had the mothership core. I know there's an opportunity for that, but well, I was not really expecting that. And then I saw he was going for a macro game, and I didn't really want to push it, but I kept on trading very well, and I sniped the observer even so he had no vision whatsoever. So I'm like, all right, let's just force field him out and win. Yeah,
it was pretty much towards the end. You were just it looked even from the game mechanics, it was like, oh, all right then. Well, I'll go and win then if that's what you want to play. There was also a cheeky little pylon that you tried to put. That was very cheeky.
Yeah, that was for the potential Oracle scout.
Fantastic. I mean, brilliant play, great couple of games. What's the difference? I mean, obviously a different race against MMA and totally different matchup and builds and what have you, but just mentality-wise, you seem much stronger recently.
You know, I've been practicing very efficiently. Maybe not a lot, but very efficiently. I've been thinking about my strategies and so on. And also the win in the tournament, who's the best European, which I'm not the best European. Don't worry. Give me a lot of confidence and a lot of knowledge from the game, especially in the finals versus Lilbo, where we played a very good series and gave me a lot of knowledge. But versus MMA, I was practicing a lot versus Terrans. I was using the strategy that I was using versus MMA, but the Terrans were reacting very differently than MMA. So that's why it looked very convincing. And I just didn't know what to do. He was maneuvering around with his army very, very well. And it was just a brilliant game by MMA, and it's just all his good play that made me lose.
Well, good of you to say so. You've got a chance now at redemption in two different ways. You can either have MMA and have revenge from the first game, or you can have Golden for revenge for last season, because it was the same game.
Yeah, I much rather prefer Golden. I know my PvT is not that strong nowadays. I feel Terrans have learned a lot about the matchup, and it's much more difficult for me to play it. And especially it's MMA. He just won Jump Hack Moscow as well, so I much more prefer Golden. And then a revenge for previous season would be nice.
Well, best of luck in that game. Mana is safely through to our final game of the night. He doesn't know who's going to play yet, though, because the winner's game is coming up next. It's MMA versus Golden, coming right up after the break. Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League. Group C is very much underway. If you're only just joining us, how dare you? You're missing some great StarCraft 2. We've had 3 games in Group C. Let's just recap for you where we are in the bracket right now. Our lower bracket game just completed and was an absolute stormer from the pole, the Protoss pole Mana, who makes it through to the final game of the day. He'll play the Golden or MMA, who now play in the upper bracket for the first place in the group and the 6th, hang on, let's do some maths, 5th place in the round of 8. Yeah, there we go. Worked that one out well. Yeah, the 5th place, because we had 4 last week already, yeah. We're both on the same page, Dennis. Yeah, I think we're good at maths and we'll stick to that. So Golden MMA is next. These two are great friends. You heard MMA in the interview say that, you know, they've practiced together, they play together, they've known each other for forever, since the Slayers days. They've both come up through Boxer. They've both been, you know, in Korea as friends, in Europe as friends. But that all goes away now. They have to be enemies. You've done this. You've played players in mouse sports in your time when you've got to these big games and you've had to win and kind of put friendships aside. It's hard, though.
That's how it is in StarCraft 2. Like, it is a 1v1 game, and sometimes you have to win against your friend to advance. I mean, there's still a second chance, right? Whoever loses right now still has a chance against Mana to advance to the round of 8. But yeah, you will play your best, you will have to win. Given that they both know each other very well, it could be very interesting. Maybe some very aggressive build orders by Golden, or MMA trying to blind counter him a little bit, maybe, with some kind of...
Maybe they mix up what they're used to playing and how they're used to play, or how we're expecting them to play. I mean, you mentioned Golden, he can be super aggressive, he likes to finish it early against Terrans as well. MMA, we know all about how he plays, but we might see some very different style builds between the two of them now.
I mean, nowadays, Terran, they really love to play extremely straight up against Zerg, getting Hellion, maybe a Banshee to be even more safe, or adding 1 or 2 tanks against any kind of aggression. And then they just play their standard game. 2 eBay, 3 CCs, they get their Marine, Medevac production, Widow Mine, and then they get...
Except if you're Bomber.
Well, yeah, that's...
And then you just do crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's he's a special one, right? While the Zergs, they try to kill the Terrans early, or they play greedy as well. But it seems to be pretty hard for them sometimes to keep up with the production.
I've got to congratulate you, and this is a very public, I've said to you privately already. For those that aren't aware, I think Hasselhoff's actually has a unique record in esports. You've actually been with mouse sports for over 10 years.
Getting old.
That wasn't where I was going with this, but Apollo's laughing in the background, but that wasn't where I was going. But I honestly, genuinely, I think that's an absolutely astonishing achievement. I really do. 10 years at one esports organisation. I don't know anyone else in esports that's done that.
Yeah, me neither.
But it also means you've had a lot of teammates along the way as well, and you've had to play these guys, friends or otherwise. How do you approach a game like this? If you're MMA or you're Golden and you know exactly how the other guy plays, how do you do it?
Well, as I said, I think... if you lose, it's okay because you lost to a friend. I mean, you always want to win, but it's like...
But mentally, how do you go into the game? Are you still chilled? Are you relaxed? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, you're okay with it. Yeah. I think you play a lot of practice games. You're used to playing each other. You might have some tricks in your mind, or you know, like, he can't beat this build. I always do it. I always win. And he told me in practice, don't do it anymore. Things like that could happen. But overall, you're pretty relaxed, I believe. I mean, for MMA, he really wants to go to BlizzCon. Yep. So he will play 100%. And Golden, obviously, he wants to show off in the WCS. I think after this year, he might go inactive or something.
Yeah,
as far as I heard.
He said to us a little while back that he's done this year. I mean, he gets to the end of the year. I mean, he's still only a youngster. He's still only 20 years old, but he's done in terms of StarCraft 2 for now. He's going to go into the military, I believe, at the end of the year and do his service. So we might see him back afterwards. We've seen plenty of Korean players do military service and come back afterwards and still do well. So who knows? We might see him in the future, but as far as he's concerned, this is pretty much his last shot at WCS this season. So, you know, I think it's a shame because, you know, he's a great character. It's great to have him in WCS Europe, obviously, but you've got to respect that as well.
Yeah, definitely. And he's a very good Zerg player, but playing against MMA is going to be extremely hard.
Yeah, and could be the only Zerg that we have in the round of 8.
Yeah. The other Zergs, Vortex, TLO, already dropped out in Group B. And
could be.
He's the only one left so far.
And he's still going to win either this game or the next one. Matt veto-wise. Catalina, Foxtrot, Nimbus and Overgrowth. All right, Overgrowth's gone. All right.
It's already started.
So we've got Deadwing in here. That's got to be third map. They're gonna not gonna play that second, surely.
It's interesting that it's still in.
Yeah, well,
and
they
it's going to
are.
be a second map. And Golden picked it. That's very interesting. So 4-player map picked by the Zerg.
And I sent Swarm hosts.
Really? Okay, I was
Yes.
thinking maybe some super aggressive style as well. But both is possible.
We've seen Snoop play this kind of ZVT Swarm host style, and not many others have done that.
Yeah, I just want to say, I think he's the only one to pull it off, because he's the master of Swarm host, so he knows even against Terran how you have to play with Swarm host. While some other Zergs really struggle when they try to do it. Even Snoot had some very hard games against Terran when he was transitioning into Swarm host, and they just killed him.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see whether Golden decides to throw something a bit wild like that. We talked about it, didn't we? You know, maybe they go for something a bit strange. Maybe they make a different map choice. We've got Deadwing in the pool, so
It's the first time in the round of 16.
I think it is the first time we played it in the 3 days so far. I can't remember it being played so far.
Yeah.
If we get there. Because we are. It was second
it's
map.
a second map,
It
yeah.
was second
will.
map. Yeah.
I
We're
mean,
definitely going to have it in.
unless the Battle.net shuts down after first map, yeah.
Yeah, no, let's swiftly move on very quickly. Thank you very much, Dennis. Who are you going for pick-wise?
MMA.
Yeah, obvious choice, I think. Okay, let's go and find out whether our commentary team agree and see what they think of the very interesting map choice. It's the wonderful old pairing, of course, of our WCS favourites. It's Apollo and Kalaris.
All right, the highlight of the day is upon us. The winners match here between our two Koreans fighting for that first round of 8 spot from this group, as it's Golden going up against your golden boy.
MMA, he is a golden boy of mine, and I just pointed him and stared him down as he walked to his booth there, if you noticed that. I'm actually very much so looking forward to this, but obviously I really think MMA is going to do well in advance in this group, but I took a decision to go for Golden over MMA.
You did.
And I know that betrays MMA and betrays Team Acer, but I'm definitely feeling Golden for this one.
Okay, talk us through that. Because that's, I mean, a lot of people are pegging MMA here, right?
Everyone's pegging MMA to go first place. If everyone's pegging MMA, which they are in the Fantasy League, and I've picked Golden, if Golden wins, I'm first place. If I picked MMA along with everyone else, I'm not. So that's one reason. Second reason is Golden has such a good round of 32 set of games against Terrans, where he plays so good. He showed us aggressive tactics that finished off games early. I think it was Crass that he killed very easily.
Yes.
And then he showed us long games against Daishi as well. So I feel that Golden is very much so all-round in this matchup. He can be aggressive, he can play the long game, and he can play multiple styles as well, whether it be Roach Hydra or Ling Muta Baneling. Despite MMA being a god versus Zerg since forever and his ability to drop, harass, multitask, and be able to build up a big army, I really feel Golden in this one.
And when it comes back to that Daishi series, I kind of agree with you. I mean, that series against Daishi was brilliant, absolutely brilliant to watch. I think probably highlight of the round of 32.
I mean, look at this guy's stats versus Terran.
Yeah, it's actually pretty ridiculous. Pretty ridiculous. He's shown
81%.
such good form across that matchup. I mean, he's 13-3 in this matchup in the WCS system, which is his best stat across all 3 matchups.
Yeah, definitely feeling it here. He's lost 2 games against MMA in the past. One was a random online tournament, and then one was at Munich Cup, I think it was called, a couple months back, which was actually a LAN in Munich, and it was a cup and tournament.
Whoa, okay.
Sick explanation.
Yep.
MMA is definitely the favourite here, for sure. You know, he's got great stats as well. He's a WCS champion. He's a 7-time StarCraft champion. He's coming off the back of the DreamHack or DramHack Moscow championship as well. So I mean, I look at it as MMA is favored 70-30, but I believe in that 30.
I think, you know, I think
it's
a nice bet to take. It's a nice bet to take. That 71% is across 17 wins and 7 losses in the WCS system overall. So very, very strong record for MMA, who is a previous champion in this tournament. And he's looking for more points. This is so important for him to get the win, to guarantee those points, to get to BlizzCon, because it would do massive amount. He's like 67% right now, and then if he wins this group as a whole, it jumps up something dramatic.
Like
80,
85, somewhere around there. So I mean, this is a massive, massive game right now for MMA. It's going to relieve so much pressure going into DreamHack next weekend.
Huge.
If he loses today, he would be looking at, you know, a final, a top 4 at DreamHack. Winning here is just the easier way. He's helped himself at DreamHack Moscow. He can do it again today.
All right, let's get into it. Game number 1 as we have spawning up to the top right. Winner of our first series of the day, representing Alien Invasion, it is Golden.
I believe in him.
And down to the south, a lot of people believe in this guy. It's our blue Terran representing Team Acer. It is MMA.
Who has showed excellent form today. Excellent play. Of course, coming off the back of a DreamHack victory. What do you expect? He played this map against Snoot, if you remember, in the DreamHack semi-finals. Or semi-finals? I think it was semi-finals. Yeah, it was. Where he 2-racks 2 games in a row. So MMA, like Golden, has the ability to be super aggressive to end it fast 2 games in a row, or he can play it out long. There's no problem with that for MMA. He's been training, or was training, specifically to take Mana to the long games today, as he mentioned in a broadcast earlier. He's not afraid to do that here as well, if need be.
Well, he's already setting himself up for an add-on on this barracks, as the positioning is nicely tucked in here at the start of this wall. But likewise, I mean, you've already explained Golden's abilities. He can go aggressive. He can go for the long game. On a map like Merry-Go-Round, what do you think he favors here against MMA?
It's definitely a difficult map to play as a Zerg player, because where's your 4th base going to be really taken? That's a big problem here. And it's better for Terran the longer the game goes. Either Golden takes his 4th base on the higher platform next to the Xel'Naga Tower, which can be very difficult against a good Terran player who drops and splits his forces up. Or he takes it to the far left, which is like super far to the left-hand side somewhere. So it's really difficult for him. His 3rd base naturally has to be, I would suppose, in the back there, and then he's got to choose between the 2 middle ones. That's difficult. Then once you're starting to spread yourself so thinly across the left-hand side, drops to the main base become a massive problem. I wonder if he's going to take the approach like a lot of Zergs do and try to end it mid-game, whether it be a Roach Baneling attack, a Roach Hydra attack, a pure Roach attack. Does he go for a 1-1 Roach timing? These different types of attacks, because MMA will be weak as he takes his 3rd base for the first time in this game. It's wide open, not easy to defend. Maybe that's where Golden takes it.
And if I recall correctly, I think Golden actually did things like that on this map in the round of 32.
Yeah, he's definitely capable of all-ins, for sure. And that's something that MMA will have to be careful about when it comes to his own greed in this matchup.
Definitely. Well, the Overlord's already seen the Reaper heading out, so he knows he has to prepare for that in just a little bit.
He does not want to stay around with that Overlord, though. He will lose it to the Marine if he thinks that's a 2nd Reaper.
Yeah, so being a bit keen about getting full information, but he's going to have to dance around the cliffs, I guess, up to the north or something like that.
MMA's like, surprise! And that's a dead Overlord, and that's a fantastic start for MMA.
Great start, great start. And the Reaper isn't even being that aggressive, actually. It's just sitting around.
No, and the thing is there's 6 Lings on the way, so even if Lings try to come to help, it doesn't matter. The Reaper's there and a 2nd Marine.
Yeah, so...
Bad start here for Golden.
Oh, well. Lings just being positioned outside, actually going to hunt down the SCV. And that Overlord overall didn't even get any more intel than the fact that 2 Marines were going to kill it. So, not brilliant in the end.
Yeah, very good start for MMA. Supply blocking your opponent at the 4-minute mark's brilliant. 6 Lings won't do anything here with the Reaper still around and waiting. He knows that I don't need a killer drone. I've killed an Overlord. I'll make sure I don't lose anything to this. But Zergling speed is on the way. There is a chance here, because the Reaper hasn't spotted anything, that we see a flood of Zerglings coming through. If you get us around on the first 2 Hellions, you can walk over the natural. So will Golden, with the next Overlord being built, after that Overlord, choose to build Zerglings? That's his opportunity with the lava that will pop from the main base shortly. Does he want to build Zerglings or drones?
A few extra drones being added on, but you're right, there was certainly a very good opportunity
there. More lava here.
Yeah, there is.
Zergling speed is very close. The Overlord's about to pop. What's it going to be? Drones. So no aggression.
False alarm.
False alarm. 2nd gas starport on the way for MMA with the Tech Lab, so we are going to see Hellion Banshee here. I think it's a fantastic approach against a Zerg player not too sure what strategy he's going to use against you. It's very good defensively.
For now, Golden's going to have to just play it greedily. But overall, I think that more so than most maps, creep spread is so important on this map to establish not only the defense of the 3rd base, but also then trying to transition on, if you're not going to try and kill them in the mid-game, to actual that 4th base. Because you said you get spread so thin, of course, but creep spread's always going to help that if you do get that spread that thin.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very important for Golden, of course. Banshee with Cloak on the way, and there's been no Overlord scout from Golden. Probably doesn't want to lose a 2nd Overlord in this game, so he's going to run the risk of hoping this isn't the case. And this is a 3rd command center, for example. But currently, with no spores, no action, he's in trouble. The Roach Warren's been put down in a very hidden location. So it looks like we are going to see a Roach Baneling attack, but he's walking into a wall. it's Hellion Banshee.
Yeah.
It's the best to deal with this attack. There's no fast third command center. Obviously, the Banshee's going to go uncontested. Here's the 4 Overlords in production. He's going to go for it.
It really shows MMA has been doing quite a bit of good homework on his opponent, knowing that there's the potential of something that is aggressive, even though he doesn't know about it just yet.
Yeah, it depends where the Banshee is when this attack happens, and does he spot it early, because that does assist MMA a lot. But MMA will have a wall, and he's going to probably start to figure this out very shortly. 9 roaches on the way. And Golden is going to take this map in the way that I thought he might. Aggression. Just to try to finish it earlier. And there's the Bailey Nest as well. And MMA sees 5 lings, that's it.
Yeah,
roaches were hidden.
Some hidden.
Obviously, not built yet.
Very, very nice little hiding of the extra lings as well here.
Look at the Banshee just kind of chilling on the right-hand side here in case there is going to be an attack.
That's actually brilliant.
And he sees no drones on the 3rd, which is a little bit weird, and no queen over there to spread creep.
Quite alarming. There's a lot of Zerglings now in production. He just sees the roaches. He sees the roaches with the Hellions at the front, so pulls back with those Hellions, trying to find a route out because he was already pinned back by the Zerglings. Yeah, bunker being built now. Can he make the defense here? He's got a Banshee destroying the main mineral line, and hopefully a Banshee at home as well. There should be a second one and a third one on the way. But back home, he doesn't have that many units. 3 Marines, 3 Hellions. There's another Banshee on the way, of course. Extra bunkers are being added on in layers to try and hold off against this. As he sees Banelings being morphed in on his doorstep, he's got to react now. He's trying to repair this as much as he possibly can do. Those Banelings are going to break it down fast once they're done. And he's, is he going to make the hold here? This is going to be a very important moment here for MMA. He's getting that bunker. The wall is already down without any Banelings even doing any damage to the wall, so you can use those on the bunker to start off the aggression. Still not that many units out, but with the Banshee back and an extra Banshee popping, he should be able to hold on quite nicely. Yeah, needed to kind of make a wall maybe on that natural, but he's holding on for now. He is down a lot in SCVs, but he's also killed a lot. He's killed 17, or no, 7 or so. Golden's killed 17. MMA has killed 7 of his own. 3rd command center there. Yeah. Does not want to lose more, though. Yeah, needs to kill these Banelings. Needs to focus those down, get those SCVs out of there. Just make sure that the roaches aren't killing off too much, because right now it's 23 workers to 27. So that's Golden, still okay for MMA. Yeah, exactly. Golden isn't exactly miles ahead, and he's trying to wall off. He actually walls off a few more roaches with his factory whilst all of this is going on. He was a little bit late with that wall off, to be honest, and he's lost, you know, 8 or so more SCVs than he should have, because that wall off wasn't there. And behind this now, it's all gun-ho drones for Golden, droning towards that 3rd base that was looking to add the lava onto this aggression. So for now, I think that Golden's done quite a bit. Yeah, he's done a lot here, and it's going to. We'll have to see how much these Banshees can do, because if they go aggressive, the Lings can run around and still be aggressive themselves. But I got to ask, with the 3rd command center being done behind all, does this give MMA the opportunity to keep powering on? He can power on, but he mustn't lose any more SCVs. He's already lost too many in this game. Hellions need to keep dancing, get the wraparound and shut them down. Really good positioning there, but in the end, I mean, they just don't have enough firepower to deal with that flood of Lings. And he's losing even more SCVs now. This is getting a bit out of control. He's trying to target down even some mules there. Really weaken the economy lines here of MMA. And 11 drones popping, so 36 SCVs. That was successful there for Golden. MMA did not spot it in time. He spotted it way too late. Banshee out of position. Hellions got killed on the other side of the map. There is a small window for MMA to do damage now with these 3 Banshees, obviously. There's no really anti-air, aside from static defense and a few queens. But he can target the queens down. He blind spot one to find. Yeah, he's actually added on even 2 extra spores in his main base because he really, really wants to protect the layer by the looks of things more so than anything. But the tech is vulnerable. I mean, there are vulnerabilities here where, as you rightly say, that damage can be done. Yeah, 1 queen down already. More drones on the turn there. He's found a weak spot. He's found a weak spot on the layer. That's why 3 spores are here to try and protect that. Needs to do a little bit of repositioning himself to shut this down. And Banshee's sitting around, going to have to move on back for now. They probably could have actually brought down that spore that whilst it was burrowing. Surprised that Golden didn't try to squeeze out the Spire here. And he's just choosing to go for a +1 attack and a Hydralisk Den of all things. Getting a Baneling Nest won't be too bad, but... So trying to kill off these Banshees is going to be difficult. It's only Queens which aren't that good here. And a couple of Spore Crawlers. So I mean, he's going to keep Golden on his toes whilst he's trying to rebuild back home. He's got a few extra barracks being added on a little bit later than normal, obviously, because he was slowed down in the early stages. Almost got another Queen there. In range of those Spore Crawlers, doesn't want to be doing that, but gets the Queen as well. Nice pick up there, and he's going for another Queen. He's killed, what, 3 Queens now? Yeah, 3 Queens. Loses a Banshee. But in the end, they did do well for themselves. Lots of damage. Of course, Lava Injects have been missed. The creep spread isn't ideal, but the creep spread is focusing on one attack. Through the middle, Hydras,
And that's it, really. I guess he can add in a couple of roaches if his gas is a little bit low here. But good kind of recovery from MMA. He's still behind in economy, but he's getting up towards having an army, and he's about to risk not being attacked now, as he's going to drop inside the main base while that Hellion and Banshee go harass that third a little bit more.
Overall, he didn't see the Hydralisk den. Is there anything that MMA can pick up on to say that this is kind of the follow-up to this?
No, he does not know the follow-up. Does not know exactly.
Okay, so it's going to have to be a bit careful, that's for sure, as the drop is now continuing in the main.
He will start to figure out the follow-up now, though, because these units must defend.
Yep, they must. Coming back, pushing away that. It's only 6 Marines, actually, but his 4th base is definitely going to be shut down by those 2 Banshees, so he's really getting his bang for his buck on those.
Yeah, MMA's still a couple of minutes away from having an army, though, and the Ling Hydra production has started, and it is very, very good right now. There's a lot of Hydralisks, there's a lot of Lings with this as well. MMA will get 1-1 soon, in about 1 minute's time. So, you know, roughly 60 minutes and 30 seconds, and then he may be okay. But there's a lot of units on the way for Golden.
Yeah, and picking up those Marines in the middle is a nice start. Also getting some of these Hellions really will help out as well.
Yeah, 16 Roaches to join the already 12 or so Hydralisks. I think that is going to probably run MMA over. I don't think he's going to be quite ready for this.
Yeah, and even if it doesn't completely kill him off, it's probably going to push the 3rd base back at least. So he's going to be hurting and reeling from all of this.
Maybe the Banshees could be the difference, though. There is an Overseer with this, but the Banshees are going to be dealing out a lot of damage. And if the Hydralisks can't get close enough to the Banshees, they will deal out a lot of damage. So
yeah, maybe the Widow Mines can be the changer.
There's a changeling within this army. There is an enemy amongst the allies.
Uh-oh. Got to be careful. Got to be careful.
Spots the army here. And MMA knows what's coming now. He's seen this.
Might have to run away from there, MMA. That's quite the army itself. 84 army supplied to 62 as...
Got to micro these Banshees.
He needs those alive.
You need these.
Oh, okay. Losing those is not a good start here for MMA, as Golden still up in terms of army supply. Splitting Lings forwards as well to soak up some of these Widow Mines. A brilliant play, because he has the Overseer there. They're always going to die during that.
Remember that MMA doesn't need his 3rd currently. He just needs to be able to defend this. Can he?
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a big wall of Roaches with Hydralisks behind for the big firepower themselves. Also, the Marines, you know, trying to hold on against this. He has to sacrifice SCVs to tank whilst all of this is going on. This is going to be difficult.
Yeah. It's, Thor comes in to help.
Thor might be able to deal out quite a lot of damage here. MMA plummeting in terms of supply, though. Golden trying to push on forward. The Marines dealing out surprisingly a lot of damage because the medevacs are helping them out. And Roach Hydra against that kind of concave isn't going to be able to win just yet.
No, not yet, but maybe the reinforcements can be enough here. MMA is going to take the fight in the open once again.
Having to push all of this back. How are we doing in terms of army supply? It looks like it's just been a bit too much. Picking up the Thor, trying to get that out of there. Really needs to keep that alive for the extra damage.
Nice use of the high ground there. Golden can't see up. Got to save that 3rd. Tank's on the way and 2-2, though. The longer the game goes, the better MMA would naturally become until we see a transition into the Hive, which that's what the Infestation Pit's for. And most likely, either can go into Swarm Host from that, could go up to the Hive itself and actually try to get Vipers.
Takes the engagement again. He's got a big concave here as the Roaches are going to try and worm their way to the back of this line, get to that siege tank. They bring that down. That limits a lot of the damage, as well as the Thor falling as well. I think he might have just broken the back of MMA.
Yeah, MMA really wants to mine from that 3rd. He knows he has to, so he took a fight that wasn't necessarily he was going to win, and that could have cost him the game.
And he's on top of all of this now. There's not really that many Marines, not that much bio left over. Getting those Widow Mines is important as he brings those down instantly, focus firing the important key units. He'll be pushed back once again, but Golden is winning this war.
But he had to use SCVs to fight there, and now he's down to 35. His 3rd command center will not be mined from a long time.
66 workers killed. It's just, unfortunately for MMA, spiraling out of control as Golden is playing a great game 1.
2-2 is on the way here. And will upgrades even matter, though? Because it does become a numbers game. With the economy so big for Golden and so weak here for MMA, he just simply can't really rebuild very often. You see his minerals, they're not even going above 50 because a Marine costs 50 minerals and he's a boom, 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 boom. Always got to be building everything he can. And not a lot of money here for MMA.
Got to be hitting that macro, trying to get those siege tanks out as well. Only has 1 to his name right now with a 2nd one on the way. And once the Hive finishes, once he even gets up to Blinding Clouds, how is this army supposed to stand and fight? It's just not going to be able to.
I mean, Hydra's have +2 now.
Yeah, this is just going to be the killing blow. Right on top of this bio, killing off the siege tank, killing off the rest of the Marines. A few more SCVs are going to die in the process. GG. Golden takes game number 1 in the winners match.
Aggressive. His attack was spotted late, and it worked. And from that, gained an advantage, which he did well with. Obviously took a bit of damage versus the Banshees afterwards, but weathered the storm. and is making Apollo look like a god with predictions.
Good job, man. Good job so far. Still needs to win the series, though.
Yeah.
But after seeing that game, he played MMA pretty darn well. MMA is going to have to reevaluate things.
Yeah, and that's a map which MMA probably would have liked to have won out of the three here. Deadwing is the second map, and then King Sejong final map between these two. Game in hand now for Golden. Going over to Deadwing, it's a large map here.
But it was picked by Golden. Very important.
Yeah, Golden's last veto was Catalina, more so than... Which I don't blame him for. Catalina's a very difficult map to play against. A good Terran on, lots of drops everywhere. And just kind of difficult overall. Deadwing. Funny enough, Golden got rid of Nimbus as his first veto, which I completely agree with as well. Trying to take a fourth base on that map is hard. When the Terran controls the middle, it's very difficult. So Deadwing naturally just thrown in there. MMA doesn't like to play on Foxtrot and Overgrowth were his two. Overgrowth is sometimes questionable. Terrans don't really like that map as much. Pocket fourth base can be difficult to deal with. Can't really get there very often. But Deadwing is in the mix, so a massive map here. 3 players spawning, as I learned the hard way. I have that one.
And I wonder if MMA actually wants to go for an early tank. I mean, it's very, very... Well, it has been popular in the past.
Yeah, and it could come out. The early tank here is a strategy that you place the tank behind the opponent's natural and get some damage done here. We could see Roach Hydra Bus again coming out from Golden. But it is an easy map to take 3 and 4 bases, which for Terran is good.
Yeah, there's a nice wraparound of bases, which really does help out. As long as you bring down those rocks nice and early when you're defending those locations, all is good. Anyway, game number 2 now. Golden leads 1-0. Looking nice and tidy in game number 1. As we have, spawning up to the top left-hand corner, it's our red Zerg. 1 game away from the round of 8. It is Alien Invasion's Golden. Down to the bottom right-hand corner, as our blue Terran representing Team Acer, it is MMA.
He gambled a little bit there that ended his game, but he's going to gamble again here. We are going to see 2 barracks come out from MMA. And he did this twice versus Snoot at DreamHack and eliminated the Norwegian. And now he's going to do it again here from Golden. But Golden's first Overlord, funny enough, is going through the middle of the map currently, and that is perfect against this. The location for the 2 barracks is in between the top 2 bases here, and Golden is going to have a very good scout here. He's moving his first Overlord. Unless he changes this, this is a perfect scout.
Going right to the heart of it.
This is huge, and if he pulls away his Overlord and builds a spawning pool...
Yeah, if he doesn't reveal that he's seen this...
Well, it is going to be a gas, so it's not a 2 barracks, it's just a single one. It's going to be with a gas, so it's going to be a Reaper here, but he's just got to hide his Overlord.
Wow.
And MMA does not see above that cliff area. And Golden has full vision on this. And this is an easy spawn and pull first here, very early queen. And MMA's barracks is simply on the other side of the map.
Yep. And that can cause you a lot of problems if this doesn't really do a whole... Of course, it's going to force Lings out, and then they're going to be defending for a while, dancing around until the queen comes out. But how does it happen later on? Because obviously MMA is going to need to wall off, etc.
Yeah.
So there is opportunity, I feel.
Oh, Golden! Yes. I think what he's doing... The Overlord. So what I think he's looking at here, look how he's bringing his Overlord down. And he's showing it. He's like, by the way, MMA, I'm to the top right, mate. Go to the top right. I'm telling you, my Overlord came from the top right. I've seen it. And MMA is, going over there. He's like, all right, let me go over there and have a quick look. And he's not there. Cool little mind game.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Not going to make too much difference, though, as the Reaper's not even out. But, of course, if a bunker or something has started outside vision range, it could have worked. But already a queen in Zerglings on the way. And even the follow-up, which is the best spot here for Golden, with gas down as well. He's going to get Zergling speed very early. He's going to deal with the Reapers very easily. And he will launch a counterattack here.
There was a funny move there where the Overlord span around in a circle as the SCV passed it again, as if to say, yeah, I fooled you, but...
And MMA's got to be gutted. He's like, God, he's got Zerglings out. No way. Does he spot... There's a lot of Zerglings as well.
That is a lot of Zerglings.
And he's got speed.
Uh-oh.
And now you have to start thinking about, walling off, thinking about getting some...
Is it even going to get out? Oh! This is not good for MMA. He's got another Reaper on the way, but it's the Queen's already there. The Queen can hold the defense while the Zerglings are running back. The wall is a command center and supply depots for now.
The Reaper is going to be the only defense. It will defend on the high ground here without more gas being built. He can't break the wall. So the Reaper's going to chill behind the command center and supply depots, but MMA's on one base, pretty much. He's building the second, of course, but he's not going to mine from this for a long time. This allows Golden the opportunity to drone up massively now and take a third base very shortly as well, which is going to be uncontested. And MMA's got to wait till Hellions are out. You actually need to wait till Hellions are out before you can do anything in this game.
Exactly. I mean, there's the other side of the spectrum that I thought might happen, which would be Golden taking a bit more gas and then getting a bit more aggressive. But why? Why even bother if you are going to take that like nice macro lead off the back of this?
Yeah, and he's getting I mean, this is bad news bears. There's an overload coming around the top right here, which should spot the third command center eventually. And with the greed that MMA's going for, he's tucked on one base, got to wait till Hellions are out before he can deal with these. Oh, jumps away, and it's going to be fine here.
Needs to get back up.
Yeah, we got to see a third hatchery come in soon for Golden to stretch his economic lead in this game.
Yeah. This is very, very interesting now. This is played out to start things off. Barracks is now back, so that can get into gear.
The faster MMA gets his second base, the better it is for him. The longer, the worse this is.
Yeah.
He's got to get his natural mining.
He's getting tech lab on that barracks as well to switch out for the starport by the looks of things.
Overlord spots the third command center here. A perfect scout from Golden. Also is going to look for the... No, he's not going to. Turns around from the follow-up. He doesn't care. He knows whatever it is going to be, it's going to be late because that third is so early.
Reaper's just darting straight to the natural to have a little bit of a look around. I think he wants a lot of information himself. He was a bit in the dark as to what was going on behind that, because obviously he was pushed away by the Lings and the ability of speed, and certainly needed to know what was going on.
So very low SCV count, just 27 here. Will, of course, start a recovery soon. This is going to be Hellion and Banshee without the cloak, unless he dedicates his next bit of gas to it, which doesn't make sense because there's a tech lab on the barracks on the way. So it's going to be Hellion and cloakless Banshees to try do damage.
10 drones, lots of drones, loving it from Golden, playing greedy.
And the Reaper has been cleared up on that left-hand side now, so no extra units. And a wonderful setup here for Golden, who I would imagine is going to throw down some evolution chambers very shortly.
Yeah, and he'll set himself up so well going into this mid-game. MMA, though, likewise on his side of things. Stim has begun. Banshee number... Is it number 1? Oh, yeah, okay, so it's only the first one. So looking to do some damage, but don't think Golden will be too bothered by one Banshee with no cloak. I think
interestingly enough, he's chosen the layer first here, which is technically a little bit safer because you can get the overseers if there are going to be Banshees. Also opens up Roach speed very early as well. If we were to see a Roach Warren start in the next couple of seconds, he'd be able to build Roach speed when the Roach Warren starts now, but it is double evolution chamber. So there's going to be some form of upgrades, whether it be Zerglings or Roach Hydra.
Yeah. And bringing down those rocks to make sure nothing can be exploited, all importantly. Because that can be really, really irritating.
These Hellions have the opportunity to run past onto creep. There is only 10 Zerglings and only a couple of Queens. Golden is playing very greedy, of course, at this point. I wonder if MMA even spots that. Finds a weak spot, though, with the Banshee. 2-3 kills.
Yeah, Banshee might put him a little bit off guard here as well. If he's dealing with the Banshee at the back and prioritizing that, how are the Hellions going to run? But he's got good overlord positioning on the entrance to his base, so that's going to give him a really good heads up to reposition.
Nice. MMA has a quick look. There's not many Lings here.
Yeah, they've got to really, really be careful.
There's not. Once these goes down.
Queen trying to help out. Push that away for a second. But more Lings are on the way. They're buying a little bit of time.
Yeah, and the Viking going to be a right nuisance here. It is attack upgrades, by the way. Balin S coming in, I think, just in case this was going to be some kind of Hellbat play, because he's not quite sure. Oh, no. Baneling speed actually being dedicated to. We're going to see a Roach Baneling all in with both speed upgrades for both sets of units.
And this could be scary.
And this requires a tank.
Yes, it does.
This requires a tank to break down the Banelings, and then hopefully the rest of the units can do something here. But again, Golden going aggressive versus MMA.
MMA adding on additional barracks here to try and get his production going super fast during all of this.
He might switch his factory onto the tech lab here.
He may have to.
He's a little bit slow with his upgrades as well. He hasn't started the 1-1 as Funker's showing us.
Yeah. And this is going to hit really hard, because if he's got 1-1 along with these Roaches...
Scans shows Baneling speed, but he doesn't find the Roach Warren, unfortunately.
By the time 1-1's finished, it's going to be too late.
I mean,
before
that
he
looks
knows.
normal.
Yeah,
that looks like 1-1 Zergling and Banelings.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a turret started in a second. He hasn't read into this yet.
No, not at all. Armory being added on as well here, just to be able to, I guess, get the Hellbats in motion. But +1 weapons has only just started now, along with +1 himself. So maybe he was lining that up and assumed that 1-1 had started, but that would be kind of ambitious, actually.
All right, well, MMA needs to spot this. He's going to be so far out in the open. No reinforcements come and help either because the rocks aren't destroyed in between these two bases.
Ooh.
The Viking, nope.
It almost spotted. So close.
And in the middle of the map, he will spot it now, but he's going to have to pick up and get out with these units. He's going to lose them if not.
Oh, there's 2 Widow Mines, 2 Burrow. Will they do any damage at all? They catch quite a lot of those roaches,
There's
so they
no
weaken
bunkers,
a few.
Cloris. There's 21 Banelings being made. MMA is looking at a 0-2 right now. If Golden's able to pull this off.
Golden's bringing the thunder so fast to this game. Baneling's morphing in. The roaches are already in the fray, killing off a lot of this bio themselves. Hellbat's trying to hold the fort as well, but there really isn't even that much army left here for MMA.
If MMA holds, he's going to be a god, but I'm not sure this is going to work out too well for him. There are so many units here. There's no Widow Mines to stop the Banelings breaking down this wall. The Banshees are trying, but it's too slow.
It's going to fall very, very fast there. Banelings roll on forwards, trying to get on top of the army, prioritizing that. If they can kill the majority of this off, then the Roaches are going to do a lot. Also, more Lings probably going to be flooding forwards here whilst all of this goes on. The Roaches are alive. That 1-1 helped so much against the upgradeless army here of MMA.
Yeah, and that's what's making the big difference here, upgrades.
More Lings flood on in. These SCVs are stranded during all of this as well. He literally depots because he can't.
Yeah.
He can't let these units in.
The Banshee's the hero here, having 17, 18 kills here. Queen comes into the mix. 2 Widow Mines, though, going to make a big difference. MMA's got a lot of Marine Marauders left, and he's starting to make this hold.
More Banelings on the way, trying to get that wall up again. Needs some of these Banelings to at least crash into that to keep MMA's hopes alive in this game.
Yeah, he's mining freely from that third base. It's making a massive difference for MMA.
More Banelings trying to roll on forwards here, but the splits are good from MMA considering his position. Still the Roaches and Lings persist, though. Unit count, there's only 10 Marines out, but as you said,
he's
the
finally
Banshee...
at 1-1 now.
Oh, the upgrades kicking in. That Banshee just keeps going to town. It's been absolutely impossible to deal with.
24 kills on that Banshee now.
Oh, those Widow Mines not really working out hugely brilliantly for MMA there, but in the end, he does hold.
He does hold. He makes the hold. A fantastic effort there from MMA. Really didn't expect him to be able to do that. And with Marauders and, you know, the Marines being upgraded now, and the Banshee's still alive, he will push this back with ease from this point.
With more Widow Mines on the way, that's going to help out quite a lot. Go Banshee. Get as many kills as you possibly can, because right now, well, all you have to do is keep stimming back this bio and making sure that you can stood a step against it, picking off the Lings, as there's only Roaches really now to go up against this, and the Medivacs are providing good healing here to keep this away.
He continues the hold from this point on, and are we going to see a transition come in maybe from Golden? He's just continuing to build units, continuing to warp in more units. Those Widow Mines got some good shots in the middle there, but with every second that ticks by, MMA is getting in better and better shape. He's going to take his high ground now instead of that low third. He's got 2-2 on the way. The Banshee with 29 kills, still alive in this game. Some better positions for these Widow Mines. And all you got to do here is build some bunkers, I would imagine, and just sit down and lock the door, lock the windows.
Golden's going to try and keep putting his head against this wall, but can it really happen with the bio now having gathered momentum? MMA feels comfortable enough to have 2-2 on the way, and King Banshee, of all things, just keeps on trucking.
Widow Mine does a lot of damage to the Marines there.
Nothing to contest it, as once again tries to push on, but there's still a lot of Banelings. The splits need to be good to hold off against that, but MMA in true colors continues on with the splits. There's not that many Marines left over, but as the bio keeps coming through, the reinforcement point for MMA is enough to make this happen. He has so many barracks back at home.
He's got to pull SCVs here right now. The Banshee's got to keep working away. That's at 37 kills now, but SCVs are being killed off here for MMA, and that's not good. That's not good at all. 35
workers have been killed off, but he's still at 44 against 56.
Yeah, more and more units being streamed out. Remember, he's so close to 2-2. Get to 2-2, this stops. Golden, very close in supply, which is actually good for MMA, and he will push this back once again. More money, more dedication to more Banelings must be commit here. Bunkers are going to be made. The stubbornness for MMA is over. And like I said, he's 1 minute away. 1 minute away from 2-2.
The wind is slowly going from the sails here of the Zergers. There's really not a whole lot of opportunity left for him here. The supply counts have been evened up.
48 kills on the Banshee.
Well done, Banshee. You did well. You did well.
And MMA continues this 5-minute hold here, pretty much. And he's zooming in on 2-2, which is where he starts to take every fight easily from this point, with no 2-2 upgrades from Golden, no Mutalisks, no Infestors, no higher tech units to actually combat the Marine Marauders. He's going to be having a very difficult time here. That was a brilliant hold from MMA. Absolutely fantastic and flawless play from him.
Worker counts even. MMA now flying up in that upgrade position. And for Golden, he wasn't even joining again. He's just morphing in Banelings, getting more Zerglings, trying to go for another blunt force push. And it's all been seen. It's all been seen once again by these medevacs.
Yeah, this is where you've got to just use your medevacs to your advantage here. There's nothing to stop these fly-in units. And to be honest, MMA does not need to be aggressive out in the open.
No, he does not. It could be his downfall if he's not too careful about all of this, but he's up in terms of supply now. His production back at home is fierce compared to what we're seeing here from Golden, who is just waning. There's not a whole lot he can do here if the splits are good from MMA.
Widowmine hits. Oh, actually on the Terran army.
Ooh, got to be very, very careful about that. He catches some of the Banelings whilst they're rolling on forwards with another one of those Widow Mines. There's not actually that much fire there, but the bunker is going to be able to hold strong against only a few roaches left over.
This is the last-ditch attack. GG MMA. With a drop going on inside the main base at the same time there, we caught a glimpse of fantastic hold from MMA, who looked like he would have been defeated on that map, but that was pure brilliance from MMA.
And I think that's why you call him Golden Boy when it comes to things like that.
That was fantastic. Definitely a memory to be had there, and one to remember for a long time. That was a beautiful, beautiful defense from, of course, a former champion of the WCS. Unfortunately, Golden's hyper-aggressive play, Game 2, did not work out this time, even though it definitely looked like it could have.
Well, that means now we come to King Sejong Station for map number 3 between these. And we've already seen a brilliant game from Golden during the round of 32 against Daishi. But when it comes to MMA, he's I would say a level above Daishi.
Yeah.
So do you think,
of course,
do you think Golden can still persevere here?
Definitely think so. Definitely think Golden can do this, but MMA played brilliantly there. He had a tap on the shoulder from his good old buddy Inu, our translator, from a very good performance there from the Terran. But yeah, I think Golden's definitely, for me, still my favorite, despite no one else believing.
No one else believing.
I believe in you, mate. We'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a good series for sure.
Yeah, already has been. Already has been with holds like that. All right, let's get into it. Game number 3 then. King Sejong Station is our map. Our 2 Koreans fighting for a spot in the round of 8 as we have spawning to the bottom right. It's our red Zerg representing alien invasion. It is Golden. And up to the top left, our blue Terran making the hold. Representing Team Acer, it is MMA.
So, would you like some out of the blue information, Claris?
I certainly would.
Randomly, as this game gets underway, considering there's no early aggression. Did you know King Sejong Station is based on an old Korean king who actually made the Korean language Hangul?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay. I didn't know if you did or not. He was a king of Korea back in 1397, was born. Died at the age of 52. Some random facts coming in here.
That's true.
And it was, well, had his reign in between the years 1418 and 1450, Claris.
Thank you very much. And I also have to give him props for, in my opinion, being one of the smartest guys out there, considering the way he formulated the language, which is apparently very simple, very mathematical, and very easy to learn.
And that's the name behind King Sejong Station.
There we
I don't
go.
know if anyone else knew that. I didn't until today.
History with Apollo and Kylaris.
Yep. It's a little fun fact for you. All right, brilliant play there from MMA. Just, I mean, that is just MMA to a T. When he plays like that, I think anybody, whether you like StarCraft or not, can appreciate that, because that was pure brilliance, I thought.
Yeah, it was
very, very, very good hold.
He's already geared himself up just to cut corners, just position this as best he can with an extra add-on to wall off that. And gas has already been taken here from Golden as well to hold off against any Reapers that are coming along.
Yeah, get circling speed really early into the game. Of course, around the 6-minute mark it'll be, which means MMA cannot use the Reaper anymore in this game. And it also opens up the opportunities for Golden to be aggressive again, whether it's going to be a Roach bailing all in or something, you know, a little bit deeper into the game. But Golden can choose from that. He did in Game 1 and kind of did in Game 2. More of a reaction, though, in Game 2 compared to Game 1.
MMA being ranked 17th in the WCS system right now, it's got to weigh so much on his mind when it comes to the tournament that he's playing so far. And he's playing Stockholm as well, I believe, correct? So
yes.
He's winning one more game here and propelling yourself forwards to the round of 8 is of such importance that we need to keep reiterating.
Yeah, this is a massive map here for MMA. Of course, it's not all or nothing. If he loses here, he would go up against Mana, again, who he did take care of quite easily in the previous set that he played. And of course, the easy road to victory is just a nice, easy win on King Sejong Station.
Oh,
Squeeze. Squeezes out there. And MMA does know about the Zergling speed being on his way, so won't stay around for too much longer, I would imagine. So far, single gas from MMA, which is pushing him towards the third command center plate, which again could push Golden to be aggressive here.
Nothing too much out of the ordinary in the end. This is just drones here for Golden. And I'm wondering if Golden is willing to let this go longer. He's already starting to work on the rocks at his natural.
Yeah, which would suggest that he wants to play the game longer because you don't need to kill these rocks to do an all-in, and it more so opens up the potential fourth base to be on this right-hand side, more so than on the left. So just that kind of kill in the rocks tells me that he'd more than likely prefer to be more so passive in this game compared to not.
Yeah.
And interestingly, we have a star put being baited here by MMA. He's not going towards that third command center. He decided to take the second gas and go for the star put here. So by the looks of it, it could be a switch over to the Banshee straight away. Could be a Viking first, and maybe then just a couple of, or maybe even a Medivac after that.
Looking to get a bit of more aggression turned on nice and quick, potentially. Yeah, there's 2 Hellions already out on the field. Another 2 going to be joining those very soon. Stim starts.
Yeah, so it's going to be a Viking, and then maybe a Medivac afterwards. I doubt it. It could be a Medivac first, of course. But I think Viking.
Yeah, he knows that there's overlords already near him, so get some guaranteed damage is always nice, as long as he can kill one and then try and hunt down the other one, which is probably going to retreat.
Yeah, and to be honest, he can still drop with 8 Marines afterwards, after with the Medivac. Roach Warren on the way, though, towards the back. We'll see if he uses it aggressively or not. The spine was built, then cancelled. And 3 overlords opening up the supply here. Are we going to see aggression? He's killing those back rocks. May escape through the back as his route to be aggressive with. Could look at it in that angle as well. As if he keeps the Hellions on the creep on the left-hand side, then escapes out the back. I think that might be the case, actually. I thought he was opening it for the later part of the game.
Yeah, a lot of overlords opening up the supply.
He's going to do it.
A lot of overlords.
He's going to do it.
Yeah, he is.
There it is. 7 roaches on the way. He's going to escape out the back here. And if MMA doesn't see this early, we could have a repeat of game number 1 here. Viking and Medivac on the way. Stim.
Sneaky guy. How often do you actually cover the vision of that back? And not too often.
Yeah, you don't really. That's why, I mean, I didn't even really think about it to be an aggressive outlook for that for him. Third command center down. MMA in the dark. Roaches will escape from the back here. Will any queens prevent anything? Oh, the Viking is on the right, but misses everything. Hellions, what are they going to see, though?
If they have no resistance at all at the top of that ramp, you must be thinking, well, what is going on? But
Medivac, though, maybe. Oh my God, there's roaches!
Go away,
He's got to build bunkers and go home straight away.
Yeah, definitely.
Can maybe the Hellions get some pot shots here? Maybe not on the roaches per se, but... Oh,
is it a little bit desperate?
No, no, you don't want to lose your Hellions here. MMA loses 2 Hellions instantly.
He needs every unit, absolutely.
Can Golden go through in first place? Here's the Baneling Morph. 13 of them. 4 bunkers coming in from MMA. Spotted this late, but not super late.
And more overlords on the way to open up even more supply to rally across here, as once now he starts working on one of these supply depots, trying to open this up. If you can get the Banelings in there without having to break them all down.
2 bunkers complete in the nick of time.
Oh, they should be able to hold on for quite a bit, but they're next to each other, so the Banelings can kill them off more efficiently. That's a good pickup there for Golden, who goes up the ramp trying to do some more damage. There's only 7 Marines out with this.
Yeah, there's not a lot of units here for MMA. The front wall is broken. The units are inside. There's no combat shields. There is a single barracks. There's 3 command centers. two engineering bays.
Oh,
Gordon's
dear.
looking at a first place right now. I don't think this hold's going to be possible for MMA.
Golden goes for the throw. That one baneling being spent not really effectively at all. Goes down to the Marine in the bunker, but there's 3 more banelings morphing in. These roaches just sitting on top of this barracks are making it so difficult.
One unit production and one production being used for the factory as well.
Gonna be
a
so
single
hard.
Hellion and a single Marauder per cycle.
Extra lings on the way as well. There's only 1 Marine in the bunker. What's it really going to be able to do? Those 2 banelings get some good detonations as well on a few SCVs. Extra banelings morphing in. Golden rallying forwards as he's killing off the rest of the Hellions in the main base. And wow, wow, wow. MMA is almost done here.
He is dead, Cloris. Golden's through in first
GG.
place. And oh boy, is he happy about that. First place for Golden in the round of 16 from Group C. A very good performance from him here. Very aggressive and tenacious Zerg. He's through in first. And
he's
he
so
is
happy.
very happy, but this guy's not.
No, he is not. That is not the result he expected from that series. As, well, Golden is our Zerg moving through in first place in this group. And Sean, Mr. Sean Apollo Clark, how happy are you right now?
Is a prediction god.
You're pretty happy.
Yeah, I believed in Golden today, and I thought he could advance through, which is why I said he'd go through in first place. But MMA, that's a sour loss there for sure. He's going to be feeling the bitterness of that one for a bit. There's 3 games in a row, 3 aggressive plays. He's probably thinking to himself, why third command center? Why double engineering bay? Why so much greed when I wasn't really going on? How come I didn't use the Hellions to go up to the natural? Why didn't I see the bat? All these things coming through, of course. A very sad loss there for MMA, who will have to play again shortly in a rematch versus Mana.
Yep, and that is going to be coming up pretty darn soon. But before we get to that, let's talk to our first place finisher in Group C. It's Golden.
Thank you, gents. We've decided to come and mob the audience because they've been cheering very loudly for both players this evening. Congratulations, Golden. Fabulous, wasn't it? Very good. So, MMA, I know, is your friend, but enemies now in the game because you have to beat him, right? So you win the first game. Very good. Second game? What did What did MMA do? Amazing, right?
He did amazing. Yeah.
It was an incredible hold. No one thought he was going to hold on to that.
I thought I already win that game, so 2-0, but his defense is incredible. So I lost that game.
What about map 3?
Game 3 was mind game because I used the Roach Bane Burst a lot in past and game number 1 and game 2. So I thought he never ever going to bench in game 3. So I decided to play with Roach and Bane again. Then I did it.
Yeah, it was too good. Have you seen Snoop playing Swarmhost versus Terrans? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I saw his play against Terran with the Swarmhost, but honestly, that was not good. I think I never win with Swarmhost against Terran, so I will never use Swarmhost, never ever.
Okay. What about the map choices? Why did you pick Deadwing?
Actually, I really like Deadwing because my style is kind of speedy with links and mutas, but in this series I never used muta, but usually I use the muta alright. So Deadwing is my favorite map ever.
Okay, so you're through to the quarterfinals now. That's awesome. 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah, it's more best happy.
Well done, ladies and gentlemen. Golden is through. Stay there. He's through. And we're going to do something a little bit different now because we've got a chap with us who can help break down some games. So, Dennis, I happen to think that was an incredible hold from MMA. You heard Golden. He said the same thing.
Yeah, it was insane on Deadwing, the second map. He basically had no idea what was happening for a while, and then the Zerg crushed into his third natural, and he somehow defended it. At some point he even started 2-2. It was crazy, the hold.
So you're going to take us through a little bit of analysis.
Yeah, we can
show
do
us
that.
exactly what went down with the aid of our observer, of course, Funker, who's I don't know how he's still awake. Frankly, got here this morning, but he's still awake.
Yeah, that's true. So basically, that's the first time when he finally found out what is going on. He got some very nice Widowmine shots, and he still has 1 Banshee, right? And it's only a single. It's only a
Brian the Banshee.
and it's only a single bunker, nothing at the third basically to defend. He's trying to defend here, but he will find out there is no way you can defend against this amount. And the Banshee is racking up the kills, 9, 10 already. And we will see a single queen later on joining the fight, trying to snipe the Banshee, but won't be successful.
But at this point, we were all thinking, okay, this looks really bad for MMA now. It's almost a great composition from Golden. Golden was pretty sure he was going to go and smash this.
Yeah, like 10 Banelings left, a lot of Roaches, Zerglings. We see in the production tab reinforcements for Golden running over. And MMA, the only thing he has running for him is a very good production and his third base. If we can have a look there, the SCVs are still mining. There's not a single Zergling attacking any of the SCVs. So that's a slight mistake by Golden, I believe. He should have definitely sent a few units over there.
Do you think he was very focused on the attack and he was just trying to, break this down in here?
Let's get it done. That's what he thought. Like, I'm into the natural already. I break down the bunker. There's no additional bunkers, so let's get it done. Try to win right away. And there's the queen. We can see the queen.
Trying to take that Banshee down. Well, let's go back. Where's the Banshee now? Let's find him.
Yeah.
So he's up to
kills.
17. Yeah, it's all right. But look, could have gone down. Well, maybe not.
Now the queen was shut down by a Widow Mine. So now the Banshee pretty much will stay the whole time and defend whatever is coming. And we see the constant stream of Zerg units, but somehow MMA with his production is able to defend it at a certain point.
I mean, it was just incredible play by him. In both bases, exactly the same. He was fighting on several different fronts at the same point. Yeah. Still, then finally, Golden sees that base and thinks, OK, I need to stop that going on as well. And meanwhile, Banshee's continuing on being an absolute pest.
Yeah, 27 kills by now. Once again, Golden is trying to break him. And my feeling was at some point, MMA noticed that he's going to defend, no matter what's happening from now. Because now he's lifting his 30C and he's starting 2-2. I think at this point he was sure he's going to defend, even though there's another big force gearing up for an attack. But it looked like he knew exactly that he's going to defend this.
Yeah, it was absolutely crazy. I mean, every wave upon wave upon wave of attacks. And again, in here as well, 34 kills now for this Brian the Banshee. I mean, just absolutely incredible. He's just such a pain for him, really, because all the action wasn't even near him. He was just kind of blithely shooting at anything that came past.
Yeah, that's the unit that basically changed the whole game. Without killing like Banelings, Roaches, a few Zerglings, I believe, is just the pure amount that the Banshee killed definitely turned the fight.
Yeah, 34 kills. I think he'll get up to 48 kills. So
48
yeah, we'll scoot through and just see the end of this.
Yeah, exactly. 42. And as I mentioned, once the 2-2 started, I felt like MMA knew he was going to defend. And eventually, if 2-2 finishes, he's going to win the game because the Zerg has no follow-up to this.
Yeah, he's going to go and crush him anyway. So, yeah, 49 in the end. So, yeah, 49 kills. Thank you, Funker. Thank you very much to Dennis as well, to Hasselhoff. We're going to take a break now. When we come back, though, we have one more game from Group C, and Mana is still in contention, but he's got to take down MMA. It's going to be a tough one for both players, and of course BlizzCon is still on the line for MMA. We'll be right back.
He's trying to get out of there. Lavaverse coming in. Shadow Fury. This is going to be it. 3K. He's going to go down.
Zunaki, that could have meant the kill if they had it, but unfortunately they do not.
But the Fury comes out. It doesn't matter. It's over.
Priest, I don't believe it. Wow. And that's going to do it. Amon takes the series. So crazy. 2 games to 1 to Priest.
Wow. Oh, I love Priest, man.
Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe Premier League Group C. We are in our final game of the evening, and we have had a fabulous evening of StarCraft 2. Some real crazy strategies, some brilliant victories, and some sensational holds as well, all this evening in our first 4 games. Our 5th game is just moments away. Let's check the bracket and show you where we are in Group C. As I said, we're in our final match of the evening. Golden is the man in the gold box, appropriately at the top of your screen. He is our 5th player into the round of 8, which will be played in the first weekend of October. Make sure you get your tickets. MMA versus Mana. The rematch will now take place in the lower bracket. Sean's back with me. And Apollo.
Hello.
Apollo.
That's my name. Don't wear it out.
Predictor extraordinaire. We've worked out that you are actually number 1 on the Fantasy League right now, as one of only 3 men in the top 30 that picked Golden to win the group. So congrats on that. That's very impressive. I mean,
thank you, mate.
I'm saying it's impressive. It is impressive, right? But don't take me the wrong way. But you're supposed to be an expert. You're supposed to get this stuff right.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe.
There's no winning, is it? You can't really win, can you?
I had a really good feeling about him today. I watched his 2 Terran games in the round of 32 against Kras and Dacian. He looked really good, aggressive, but at the same time could play a long game. And I just felt it. I don't know what it was. I was like, this guy's going to be number 1 today.
Bit of gut feeling in there, Em.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm a massive MMA fanboy, so I was able to see through my fanboyism to actually pick Golden.
It's like fanboy goggles.
Yeah.
That second map, though. That hold.
It was a brilliant hold, yeah. The Banshee was so
as good as
important.
anything we've seen since MVP Season 1.
Yeah, it was up there, definitely up there. Not, I wouldn't say it was as far, because that was coming back from 0 SCVs.
Yeah, I think he had like 40 supply against whatever it was, but it was ridiculous. But
one of the best holds we've seen in a while.
Definitely the best one we've seen, I think, of the season so far. A fabulous way of coming back, but not enough in the end. Your boy taking himself through the round of 8 again.
Yeah, I loved what Golden said in the post-game interview. He said that the mind games would come in because Hellion Banshee is the best way to play against Ling Roach, especially if you see it early, because you can defend against it much, much easier. Obviously, Banshees are unstoppable, apparently. But he didn't see it until too late, and then he was 3 command centers, double engineering bay, 1 barracks, 1 factory, just not enough.
Yeah, absolutely. What I also loved about Golden as well is just picking out just a little attention to detail that he had. There was a lovely piece in the first game where he realised that he was getting proxy racks, and his overlord saw it, went the other way, and then turned back around to come back as if he were coming from top right.
Right.
To give MMA the thought, oh, he's up there, oh, okay, now I'll scout that. Just little things like that Golden's got in his armoury that you just don't see from everyone.
Yeah, he's a very, very smart player. If that had been a regular 2-backs with Marines, the Marines and bunkers would be up to the top right, but it was a Reaper, which is slow. So it didn't quite work, but if it would have, and it was what he expected it to be, then it would have been awesome.
Yeah, very good. Okay, let's move on. MMA versus Mana. Not perhaps, well, actually definitely not the matchup that Mana wanted. He absolutely did not want to play MMA after being dismantled earlier on, but he looked very good against Welmo, and well, we all know how good Welmo is, so where do you put him now? Is he still going to struggle?
Yes, he's still definitely going to struggle here. MMA is so very, very, very good, and if you think about it on a basic level, he got cheesed out in that previous series. This is going to be very difficult. MMA's not going to lose to cheese very easily. He goes Reaper every game, he spots what's going on, and the difference in the class between the first series was huge.
Nimbus has gone from Mana. MMA's going to remove one of the remaining 6 maps. Is there any solace in any of these maps for Mana? I'm trying. I'm really stabbing in the dark here a little bit. But
the maps aren't gonna. I mean, sure they assist you a little bit, but even if you get a map that's favoured in your side, you're playing MMA.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't matter.
And we're not going to get one because Foxtrot's probably going to go here as well. Yeah, there you go.
Same
so Cavalier,
maps as
Deadwing,
before.
Foxtrot, Nimbus, no change whatsoever.
So I think it really comes down to Mana just buckling up, playing a much tighter game than previously, because it was, at the end of the day, his own mistakes that cost him the series.
Put yourself in Mana's position right now. You know you've lost heavily the first game. What do? Do you change things? Do you become a bit more random? Do you play safe? Do you scout early? What do you do?
I would play the same again, exactly the same again, because I know that Mana would have come into that series with a lot of preparation. It was his first game of the day. He knew he was playing MMA. He would have prepared against it. Do what you prepared, but do it better. I wouldn't suggest changes.
So just remove the mistakes, in other words.
Yeah. And then because we didn't even get to see his full plan unfold because he got stopped by his own mistakes before he could get into the swing of things.
Yeah, okay. While they set up, just a very, very quick look forward to tomorrow because I want to get people hyped and excited about tomorrow. It's Group D for the death of Daishi. I think that's the only way I can put it. I've already spoken to him as well. He knows that's what I've called it. Yeah. It's a really tough group, joking aside.
I mean, Daishi can, you know, he's decent against Terran, but he's never, ever taken a single map away from 4GG, and he's landed in the group with 2 players who are contesting for the title. It's unbelievably difficult for him.
He's a combined 34 and 4. Yeah. He's won 4 maps against the 3 players and lost 34. And it's 18-0 with 4GG. I mean, he even knows it himself. He was like, I'm 0 and 18 against 4GG. Yeah. Why could I have played anyone else? Why do I have to play him? Why do I have to play my teammate?
I know for a fact that he wished he was in Group A with a group full of Europeans.
I think they all do.
He's actually just landed in the most difficult group he ever could have landed in.
But I did speak to him as well just before we came on air, and I said to him, actually, that's all right for you. No one will expect you to win. There won't be any expectations there. You can be really relaxed, really chilled, play some crazy strategies, play some cheese, do whatever you want. And the other pressure is on all the other 3 players.
Yeah, but to be honest, that's actually where Daishi excels. Yeah. You've seen him at Home Story Cups when he's wearing sunglasses and not giving a damn really, and just kind of playing however he wants to play. He's actually got results doing it that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other 3 players are fantastic. I mean, we've got MC, who won Season 1. We've got Stardust, who won Season 2. Both of them are qualified for BlizzCon. Yeah. No pressure on them in that respect, but 4GG is probably the man who's under the most pressure in that group.
Yeah, I mean, he should beat Daishi, of course, but going up against 2 champions there, especially because 4GG is looking brilliant this season. If he hadn't landed in that group, I would have said definite top 8. But because he has, now it's going to be very hard for him.
Yeah, very tricky. Okay. MMA and Mana are almost ready, it looks like. So I don't even want to ask you, really, because I think I know the answer. This is MMA's to lose, isn't it?
Yeah, it should be 2-0. It's his BlizzCon place at hand, and when anything gets in the way of that, is when he just goes gung-ho and won't let you even get close to come to a win.
All right, thank you very much, Apollo. We're from Apollo at the end of the programme as he wraps up the evening with our other 2 commentators who are waiting for us to bring you the final game of Group C. Does MMA's BlizzCon dream stay alive? Mana's in his way. Let's find out whether he can do it with your commentary team, Kalaris and Hasselhobbs.
All right, second place on the line in Group C between Mana and MMA. King Sejong Station will be our first map between these 2, and oh boy, has Mana got a tall order to fill.
Definitely. The first best of 3 didn't look good at all for him. Nothing was going his way, and yeah, he has to bring his A game, probably even more than his A game.
Yeah.
While MMA has to play weaker than the games before. Because he looked so strong. Even in the games he lost against Golden, he looked very strong. And there was just, some points, there was just no way of coming back, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mana has 3 wins, 6 losses against MMA. Not a good record. And most of the games, I believe, were on Wings of Liberty. And since Heart of the Swarm, I believe MMA won almost every single engagement.
Yeah, it's been difficult for Mana, that's for sure. And Mana, you know, before this was theorizing, you know, do I just go standard? Do I try what I did before? What do I do? Because there is not a whole lot that is going to break this guy in this matchup. If he is able to overcome this, then that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. But it's going to take a very, very minor miracle at this point.
I was talking to Mana. I was watching the MMA Golden Games, and Mana was kind of cheering that MMA would win because he said he would rather like to play against Golden.
All right, then.
Didn't really work out.
Well, let's get into it. Game number 1 of our final series of the night, as we have spawning down to the bottom right-hand side. It's our Red Terran representing Team Acer. It is MMA. And up to the top left, we have our blue Protoss representing Team Liquid in colors. It is Mana.
So it's King Sejong Station again, as in the first best of 3, and MMA was going for Reaper into Proxy Factory into Proxy Starport. I doubt he will do it again. Maybe we'll see a complete switch up, maybe something like CC first, just to throw Mana off his game. On the other hand, Mana, both games he played, he was going for an early Twilight Council with Blink, followed up by Colossus. On the first map on King Sejong, after he defended the Widowmine drop, he was doing some decent damage. He was delaying Stimpack, was able to kill a few units, but not really able to put a lot of pressure on the Terran and then falling apart afterwards. And on the second map, it didn't really work out at all. So maybe he will switch up his playstyle even more. Maybe something like a Stargate would be nice. Maybe an early Robo. Just to, like, if he wants to play standard, he could try to go like all the way.
Yeah, I still think Mana has to bring, I guess, some tricks to the table against MMA here, because MMA's straight-up game is going to be very solid. MMA understands this matchup very, very well. He understands when poking forwards with a few units, what their reaction will be forced out of the Protoss opponent, and then, you know, an extra follow-up after that, what that's going to do to his Protoss opponent. And generally, dealing with someone who fully understands the nuances early on in this matchup can be very, very hard for a Protoss. So, when it comes to MMA is going to be looking strong from the very get-go here.
And MMA, as you mentioned, he's very smart at getting the photon overcharge at moments where the pros don't want to use it.
Baiting it out.
Yeah, bait it out. And also overall, like, very good Doom drops, even though some people might think it's very easy, but he really takes the best opportunities to go for it. And he's looking very, very solid against Protoss. Almost no flaws from what I saw in the first best of 3.
Yeah, it's about drawing your opponent away from the locations and then hitting hard elsewhere. But we already saw him on this map exploit his opponent very, very well. A great drop on the right-hand side. Vikings in tandem to bring down and gun down those Colossi. So Mana, even with standard openers, you know, Colossus play and then transitioning on, still has to be wary as to what could happen. This Probe, sneaky little guy, has been able to keep himself alive for a while.
It's going to be a second scout, I believe. Mana's not going to proxy anything with this scout, I think. With his Probe, sorry. I think he's trying to get in a second time to scout the factory timing or the additional barracks. And MMA knows about it. His Reaper is on patrol.
Yeah, over a large location, because he knows that the Probe is somewhere and trying to get up this ramp, but he doesn't know which angle it's going to be coming from, so you need to cover all of this area. Probe is being super sneaky now and is going to go all the way. Oh. Uh-oh, wait a minute. That's not where I was expecting it to go. It's actually
That doesn't look like a scout to me.
No. That does not.
So how much gas does he have? Around... Okay, he just spent a few. I guess he's... What did he build with 100 gas? Ah, Robo, okay.
Robo.
So what could it be? Just a... Yeah.
With the positioning, maybe a slightly delayed Stargate or something, or...
Yeah. Or maybe we just have to wait. It could be still just for scouting.
It could just be for later on to end up throwing down a pylon. I mean, there are options available here to Mana.
Definitely, yeah. MMA is getting Hellions, by the way, with a reactor. So he was switching up the reactor from the barracks to the factory, getting Hellions, and he will... get a medevac as well, so it will be, I think, 6 Marines, 4 Hellions, and a medevac flying over to the Protoss, or the Hellions will move and the Marines will be in the medevac.
Go Flash style. It's always nice to see that build come out. As Mothership Corp, one more shot. Okay, Stalker's going to have to get back there as well.
There's no way out for the Reaper, so it will eventually die. There we go. And did you see the Robo? Yes. Yeah, okay. So he knows exactly what's going on. And yeah, you were right about the Stargate. It's not being proxied.
Yeah.
But it is a delayed Stargate.
I have seen him do this a few times. He has liked to give it a go, and it can throw the Terran off guard. I mean, if you see the Robo, especially, of all things, if you've given your opponent the information of a Robo, are you really expecting an Oracle to fly in or something?
You want him to see the Robo.
Yes.
That's a very good point, yeah. You want to see, like, he should scout the Robo, and then you're like, okay, now I drop my Stargate. On the other hand, MMA will most likely find out about the Stargate because he's going for such an aggressive opening here. 4 Hellions with a medevac drop. The Observer saw the medevac though, and the Probe at the Watchtower sees exactly the flying route, so that's a very good scout for Mana.
And Photon Overcharge is very important here because he's still only on 1 gateway, right? Whilst all of this is going on, adding on extra gateways now, but doesn't have too many units available to him. That's why this Mothership Call is in patrol.
I like it. Mana is evacuating is natural, knowing that he has only 1 gate so far, so he doesn't have a lot of units, so he makes sure that the Probe losses he's suffering is very minimal.
Yeah, Stalker's going to try and hold on against these Marines. There's only 6 Marines, you got to remember. Stargate hasn't been spotted yet. Good block at the front, whilst the Marines try and go work on the Probes, and they're actually killing quite a few.
Yeah, he's getting... Oh, and he also killed a Stalker. This is going horrible for Mana again.
That medevac is adding so much longevity, even just to a few Marines here, which kills off 10 workers overall.
Oh, and it survives. I can't believe it.
Wow. Wow,
Does
wow,
he get the
wow.
last Stalker? No, not quite. He was not really focusing. There is an Oracle on the map, though.
Yeah.
Can he deal a lot of damage to the Terran?
Well, he spotted the Stargate during all of that. He's scrambling to get an engineering bay up to try and defend against it, but he does have a few Marines back at home. It really depends where this Oracle's going to hit, because for now, the Observer is keeping good eyes on the positioning of the Marines at least. And he's going to go in, get a few more kills, even things up a little bit. Actually goes for the Marines to start things off, but Marines from the left-hand side, he's got to be very careful. He actually takes down a lot of them, in fact, all of them. Wow.
But is it really worth it? I mean, if he... Oh, yeah, okay. He still has a lot of energy, so yes, it was definitely worth it. 13, 14 kills. Keep in mind, 7 of them have been Marines, but wow, this is Oracle.
All right, chill out, Oracle. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. 20 kills. That was an angry one.
That was an angry who just releases it. Oh, well. Viking's going to hunt that down now.
MMA is adding tanks. He does have 3 tanks right now. This is something we saw from Maru playing. It was also on King Sejong Station, I believe, in the GSL.
And Hellion's being ferried into the Marine. The Oracle will end up dying. Hellion's looking for an opportunity.
So risky. 7 HP on the medevac, but good control there by MMA.
Yeah. Trying to get a few workers killed here. Doubling up those shots so they can just focus down probes one at a time. But at least he saw behind all of that the fact that the forge was being worked on. There's a second forge going down. He knows he's going to be playing against that double forge kind of style.
Yeah, so this is a switch up from like not only the Stargate, but also way earlier forges from what we saw in the first best of 3. Mana was getting a lot of units and delaying his forges for quite a while. And the push out in 6... it was Teja. It wasn't...
He's going to the rocks.
Yeah. It was Teja against Stardust.
Yeah.
Now I remember where I saw it.
But if the rocks are broken down, how effective is this really going to be? He's got 12 Marines with this, but if that Immortal actually catches a siege tank...
Mana knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
He's actually greeting the Terran army. Yeah, he saw the Observer, obviously saw the army
Saw
leaving.
the siege tanks.
Yeah.
So understood that there was going to be the potential of this as he's splitting off his Immortals now to try and get a little bit of a better engagement on this if it's to push forwards. And it looks like MMA has kind of given up that territory. Doesn't want to risk too much here.
But it's a huge commitment for MMA.
Yeah.
He has another tank at home and still the tech lab on the factory, so he was definitely planning to do some damage with it. And I have to tell you that tanks in the Bioforce, the later the game goes, the worse they are. They don't provide a lot of sustain or even damage in the fight unless you have a perfect sieged up position with buildings in front of you or something like this.
Yeah, definitely. Especially once the Protoss force becomes more fully rounded, we should say, like with Charge being in there, for example, for Zealots to get like right on top of the army, as well as all the Colossi that are now going to enter the fray as well.
Yeah, definitely. 100% right. And Mana is getting the 3rd base on the left side. That's... you can do that. It's definitely a possibility, especially after you took down the rocks and you don't want to be spread that much. But does he... Yeah, I think he saw the army once again. Ooh. He lost a little bit of track, though.
He's going to keep going, so he will find it. I was expecting him to pull back there and go for another angle, but the siege tanks are already heading over here as well. As Thermal Lance is quite an important upgrade against something like this. You do need range against an army as range-heavy as this army.
Yeah, you need range in general. Even against Bio, you definitely want to have the range. But he has 2 Immortals, right, with the composition, so... They provide a lot of firepower.
An army supply, tip of the hat to Todd, as he's always going on about 81 army supply against, say, around 50-some. But Mana is actually being able to rocket up from that 50 position to 70 now quite rapidly to try and reinforce. So he's going to have to hold on at this location, but siege tanks are going to slowly creep forward towards that Nexus.
And he has Vikings as well, so... He has a lot of long range against the Colossus. He's actually getting in position to shoot at the Nexus.
Yeah, and he's forcing the army to come to him, basically. That's a great siege line he's got with no opportunity to flank for Mana. This Nexus is under a lot of threat right now.
MMA has to be careful, though. A lot of shots in the Bio there, but I think he will get the Nexus eventually. One more stim, one more hit of the Marauders, and it will fall down.
Bye-bye Nexus. Good pickup there by MMA to start things off in this series.
There seems to be a flank on the right side, a few units on the minimap walking down. It's only 3 Zealots, though. Will they... That's not a very strong flank.
Not the best. One siege tank falls instantly at the front lines there as he's going to move on forwards. No Zealot charge during this, but a very, very heavy Zealot composition as they manage to get on top of this army. The Zealots from the back actually do help quite a bit. And the blink forwards.
The medevac is full of units, but it actually survives. 24 HP. And yeah, you were right about so many Zealots, even though there was no charge. He got so many Zealots that they tanks so much damage from the tanks, from the bio, from basically everything. And MMA just overstayed his welcome. He got what he came for. Kill the Nexus.
And then back out.
And then back out. That's what you should do, I guess. But he was staying a little bit too long and got punished for it. Luckily for him, he almost saved every single bio unit. He lost his tanks, and as I said before, I don't think they provide that much in the later stages. And we will see if this drop is actually doing some counter damage now.
Yeah, but without the tanks, he felt a little bit vulnerable after he'd lost that, so brings back his third command center, making sure he's okay. And this drop, in essence, has seen the positioning of the army now, so he probably could just fly back there and start mining from his third after seeing that.
Free Viking there, definitely not planned at all. Especially against the Colossus style.
Yeah, that's true. How many Colossi are we up to? 2 at the moment. Third one's just about to pop. And 2-2 upgrades are on the way, technically for both players, but Mana has an opportunity to chrono boost furiously into those forges and actually find himself with the 2-2 timing, but how often are you going to try and hit that against Terran in this position?
I mean, the 2-2 for the Terran is on the way. The +2 attack is pretty far as well, so it's going to be hard to hit 2-2 against 1-1. But you could go for that. I mean, Mana is trying to get his third Nexus. He stopped his pro production for a while, though, I believe. So he's on 53, yeah. MMA is on 52, so very even on that, but keep in mind the mules. And the DTs will maybe make the difference here.
Yeah, they've been mixed in a very interesting timing, actually. Not one that you normally see too much of. So landing a Viking and might even, if he dropped a scan for that, then...
To be honest, I completely missed that as well, that he made the Dark Shrine. And it's a beautiful timing.
And this is why Zealot Charge is pretty damn good against those tanks, especially when they were naked. The bio was on the left and the right-hand side, leaving them exposed. Mana's going to jump at the opportunity to take down a lot of this army. And, I mean, where are the Viking numbers? The Colossi go uncontested.
Yeah, he only has very few Vikings on the field. He did some damage from the DTs as well. He's down to 43 SCV, so actually I really have to say I completely missed the Dark Shrine, and it's a brilliant move by Mana. As you mentioned, it's at the timing where the Terran really doesn't expect it, especially just landing the third, not having a turret there. And Mana not saturating his third at all. He's just going all out units right now.
And this is a ballsy move here by MMA. He needs actually quite a lot of units to back at home against these 3 Colossi, that are, as well as this force. It is going to be pushing forwards.
Wow.
GG, there you go. It was just too much.
Wow.
MMA realized he was probably going to lose that push anyway, I feel, and then was like, well, if you're not going to go for it, I may as well try and do some damage elsewhere. But he went for it, and that was just the case.
That was definitely not the right strategic call by MMA, I believe. He was so dominant with the standard like bio medevac Vikings.
Yes.
And this time he was going for kind of gimmicky build where you siege up the gas like from the low ground, but he didn't even get to the position. And I mean, yes, he got the Nexus, but Mana was not really building that many probes anyways.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, take my Nexus, I take your whole army.
The Observer, in the end, for Mana, just read the game well. Saw those siege tanks, and he's like, well, you know, this is a possibility. If I break down these rocks, I mean, is it really hurting me at this point? Like, it's only ever going to aid me against a siege tank-based play. So, game number 1 goes to Mana, and we now are in a situation where a previous WCS champion is 1 game away from being eliminated in a group that was considered by a lot his.
Yeah, absolutely right. I wonder if MMA maybe thought he would be further behind after losing so many SCVs to the Oracle. Because I was just checking the income tab, or the resource graph. He was basically always ahead of Mana, because Mana lost a lot of probes to the Marines, but maybe he wasn't really 100% sure how many probes he got.
Right.
And how much damage he took from the Oracle. Because he was very committed to his siege tank attack.
Well, next map is going to be Merry-Go-Round.
Oh.
And, well, we see a lot of very aggressive players from Protoss on this map.
We see MMA not happy at all so far with this map, as you mentioned.
He's got to enter killer mode. MMA has got to actually enter killer mode at this point, because he's 1 map away from being eliminated in the round of 16, which is going into this season, looking to move on to BlizzCon. This is not where he wants to be. Not at all, of course. He wants that BlizzCon position. He's ranked number 17. He's on the bubble. So let's get into it. Game number 2, spawning up to the top right-hand corner. It's that man in red, representing Team Acer. It is MMA. And down to the south, we have our blue Protoss, 1 game away from the round of 8. And that's important because it would be his first ever round of 8 in WCS Europe. It is Liquid Mana.
Yeah, and a very, very nice mix-up as well with the late Stargate. A very good call with the Oracle to go for the Marines first, then focus on the SCVs. MMA did not try to slide them away. Was just basically standing there and taking the shots. And yeah, he lost a lot of SCVs, he lost a lot of firepower with the Marines that were gone. And it's going to be tough. Marigo is definitely a map where he could be tricky as well. Mana, that is, obviously.
And remember, folks, what's very important here, what's very, very important for MMA is the fact that if he does not do well here, if he does not move on to the round of 8, which is oh so important for his qualification through to BlizzCon, is that going to DreamHack, he would need at least a top, well, he would need a top 2 finish,
top 2
basically.
Even. Okay, wow.
Big stakes are on the line for MMA here. Big stakes indeed, because if he does not hit it home here, all year long, he's on about BlizzCon, 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 BlizzCon. I want to go to BlizzCon. Yeah. He remembers the roar of that crowd back when he won at BlizzCon, and he wants that feeling again.
And man, DreamHack Stockholm is very, very... has a very tough lineup, so...
It's getting tense.
Aiming for the top 2, that's the final, right? So...
You've got people like Sue there. Like, I mean, I could go through the list for days, but Sue alone, for me, is like, whoa. Like, so...
He has just to, like, in the first best of 3, he looked very strong. You just have to remember, like, what he did there. And I think if he plays like that, he definitely has a very good shot of beating Mana. And Mana, I think, he should take the same way again. Be a little bit tricky. Not too much though, because I think there was a very nice build order. Robo into Stargate, into Colossus with Blink. Looked very, very nice. Even 2 Forges, double upgrades.
Yeah.
So he switched it up, and it worked out very well for him. But yeah, I have to say, MMA's firepower overall has been way weaker because of the tank building. And
definitely.
No Vikings at all.
I mean, how are you going to deal with those 3 Colossi, right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? There's not a whole lot. He tried to pit all of his hopes eventually after having I would say a very terrible engagement angle from him with the 3 siege tanks once Zealot Charge was done, because of how powerful it is against that. You cannot have naked siege tanks in that situation. No. Not at all. The bio has to be dealing with the Zealots very effectively.
And then you get friendly fire by the tanks when the Zealots charge in. It's like, yeah, I agree. It's it was a gimmicky build by MMA as well, and it didn't pay off. So on merry-go-round, he's playing it more standard right now. Reaper into CC. Once again, the Reaper very defensive. He didn't scout with it. He's now checking for any kind of proxy stuff. He might be able to find the probe.
He's going to have to check open area, which is oftentimes not that common. Everyone normally just checks around perimeters. As for now, the Reaper is not currently on the path to find that probe.
No.
Who's on a watchtower, and that will make it even harder for that to find.
But they will probably greet each other.
They're going to converge. Oh.
Yes.
Oh.
Hi. What up?
Good pickup by MMA.
Where are you going?
I'll catch you.
We'll take out the probe. We'll check for any proxies in the main base. I really love it by MMA to see that.
If you're in this situation, Hasu, you are a pro Protoss player. What would you mind be going to here? You're 1 up against MMA. You're 1 match away from the round of 8. Do you, on a map like merry-go-round, do you risk it? Do you go for something aggressive? Do you try and break him?
I think if you have a build prepared, you should definitely go for that. I mean, Mana, I'm pretty sure he knows that the first map, it wasn't a gift, but it was way easier from the strategic choice by MMA than it would have been a straight-up game. So, yeah, he's leading 1-0, and I think if he has something prepared, he should definitely show it now or never, because if you win 2-0, perfect.
Well, there's the Robo Bay. Very, very fast here during all of this. And the thing is, though, is that MMA is moving across the map. He's just finished concussive shells, and he's going to be poking and prodding. So how well is this little defense going to be able to hold up?
One of the Stalkers, okay.
Realizes concussive shells is there. He knows he has to be very, very careful with these Stalkers. Photon Overcharge is going to be activated. He tries to deny the Reaper from jumping in. That Reaper was looking for the opportunity to find information inside his opponent's base.
I think Mana is going for an all-in here. What does the scan see? Where is he scanning right now? Actually, he was scanning for an observer. Okay, yeah, and he got it. That's very important as well. It's very, very annoying for the Protoss player, but I think Mana is going for a 2-base Colossus all in here.
That's why I got the feeling of as well.
But we have to wait and see. He's still he's very little on probes right now. He halted the production for a while when the attack was coming because he was very scared of it.
And I mean, look how compared to the previous time, look how defensively he's playing. He's got so many Marines in the main base waiting for something kind of a little bit crazy coming along, but the first Colossus is already on the way.
Yeah, but the supply block really hurts him. 60-60, he had to build 2 pylons. It's very, very annoying, and now he's getting a forge behind it. Is that because he noticed that his timing might be too late now? So he's going for a standard follow-up. He's going to get Blink, he's going to get +1 armor. Obviously, with the 3rd Colossus, so like 2nd, 3rd Colossus, you're going to get Thermal Lance. The question is, when will he decide to get into High Templars? Or will he stick on Coloss production for a while?
Yeah, we'll find out in a little bit. He's actually keeping these Colossi hidden at the back of his mineral line, but the scan there does reveal the extent of Mana's current tech. So, and sees also the +1 weapon starting under that scan. So it's got to give him a little bit of comfort, considering, you know, that takes a while.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, if you see the forge like this, you only saw 3 gateways. It could be still an all-in. But I think for now he feels okay. Like, he will try to confirm with his first 2 medevacs what kind of build order that is. He will try to poke in and see if Mana has a lot of gateways or not.
And Mana's setting up pylons on the left-hand side, so these pylons to me scream the idea of, well, trying to spot medevacs if they were coming along. Of course, they can reinforce and kind of try and push across, but units from that location do take quite a while to get over there.
Yeah, as you mentioned, scouting for medevacs and having the opportunity to send a few zealots to the 3rd base, especially if there's no bunker.
Yeah. Well, now Blink as well as +1 armor are on the way, adding on a few more gates. 3 gates, in fact, and still no sign of a 3rd base, which MMA does see. He has a Marine positioned to be able to spot that, and we see Mana now finding himself a 3rd base as well.
Is he? Okay, never mind. He's stimming in with 1 Marine, just trying to check the size of the army. He does see the Twilight Council. He sees it's upgrading right now. He will confirm that there are Colossus. No, very smart by Mana, pulling away the Colossus several times. So they haven't been seen, or he can verify how much of, like, he used the RoboBay tech.
I mean, let's think. Okay, so he's actually getting an observer as well. It's getting to the point where the 3rd's very, very late here for Mana. Do you not think?
It is very late, but that's how it is on Merry-Go. If you take the 3rd too early, you will die. You will be punished. Unless you play like without forges and mass unit style, then you maybe can take it. But I think 11:45, that's okay-ish. I mean, obviously you want to have it earlier, but that's how they may play.
He's looking for the snipe. Actually, he's going to get it. There's no way to stop that.
Okay.
Oh, and well, this is one reason, I guess, why you have to take it late. And even then, it still takes a while.
Yeah, so he has to rebuild it. And Mana is mixing in Immortals. So 3 Colossus into Immortals with Templar Archives. And that's exactly the moment when we see the 2nd starport. So this is good for Mana. While for MMA, if he overproduces Vikings now, he might have a problem. But on the other hand, I think he's gearing up for a very, very strong attack. Maybe even with SCVs.
Yeah, could be doing. With that 2nd starport about to finish up, he's going to get a lot of Vikings out very quickly. Ghost Academy's on the way as well. Did he actually even see the Templar Archives?
No, not yet.
But, I mean, if he goes with 3 ghosts, I mean, that's a very, very standard timing that we see come out.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to mention that you can be very aggressive with 3 ghosts, the double starport, and you have 2-1 upgrades. That's exactly what MMA is working on.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit like that timing, so that's something that Heron played very, very often for a while, so Mana should have practice against it.
And let's not forget, I mean, this is MMA's tournament life on the line. He has to bring out the game that is going to give him the best opportunity to win this. If he feels that that is the best opportunity with these 3 ghosts on the way in about 30 seconds' time, then, well, we're going to see some fireworks, because that 3rd base is very hard to hold here for Mana.
Yeah, Storm is on the way, a 3rd Immortal as well. The 3rd base is being poked once more, but there's no way you can kill it right now.
MMA is adding on 3 barracks behind this at the 3rd base.
Okay.
So
he decided to, yeah, whatever he wanted to do, he's not committing yet.
Not just yet, not just yet. I think he understands that his 3rd base is a whole lot earlier than his opponent's. So maybe that gives him a little bit of peace of mind. But Storm is going to be finished soon, and that's a lot of AoE damage that Mana's going to have.
Yeah, Mana's adding the 2nd Forge now. He feels a little bit more comfortable once Storm is ready. He does have gas. Yeah, he's warping in 2 more High Templars, so he completely stop building Colossus for now. He's going to be safe with Immortal, Charge Lot, High Templar, and Storm, obviously. While MMA, if he wants to attack, he has to land his EMPs.
Oh, and he just drops a scan just out of this observer's vision that did see the Vikings rendezvous with this army in the middle. No SCVs coming with this, so it's just going to be a straight-up, almost maxed out army. 118 army supply against 93. All the scans drop to actually catch the positioning of this army, and Mana was confined to a corner there. Has to be careful. EMPs land.
But he gets a ghost, 3 ghosts, and only one of the High Templars got EMP'd.
Uh-oh, okay, are these Vikings going to be able to do enough to bring down these Colossi quick enough? The Storms aren't that amazing just yet, as the army for MMA has a brilliant arc. A Storm lands on the right-hand side, killing off a little bit of that army, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Another good Storm, though. But will it even hold back?
He has more Storms.
Oh, trying to catch him. Gets on top of these High Templars. The Vikings land as well, bringing down the Archons, bringing down the High Templars. The cannon is going to fall as well, and there's not much to actually reinforce here. Only Zealots alone? Yeah. It's not going to work out.
Yeah, even though his EMP didn't land on the High Templars, I think you got some beautiful EMPs on the army.
GG. MMA ties up the series with just true, standard, solid macro Terran.
Man, that could have gone either way, I believe. If Mana maybe spreads a little bit more, and 2 of his High Templars with very full energy were in the natural and main base, so the last Storms he hit, when the very good ones, they came a little bit too late. If you hit them earlier, because the High Templars are in position, then maybe MMA can push through. And you get the time you need for maybe like adding one or two more Colossus to be in a very good position.
Well, 1 map left now. Overgrowth will be our map. Do you feel that it's a little bit easier here for Protoss to at least take a quicker third merry-go-round?
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to help out that kind of plan a little bit better if he wants to go for that again.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, you can take the third a little bit earlier here. So what did Mana do? It was just very straight up. There was no Warp Prism in the mix, no Stargate, no DTs, something like that. Yeah, Overgrowth. It's a very straight up map, actually. It's the best map we have in the map pool, I believe. Like all races actually like Overgrowth. It's being picked the most in WCS, I believe.
Yes, yeah. I believe so. It's been around for a while. That might be one reason.
Yeah, obviously.
So, yeah.
That also speaks for the map as being very solid.
True. All right, let's get into it. The final game of the night. One of these guys is moving on to the round of 8. MMA can actually not lose this if he wants to keep good, strong hopes alive going on. Let's get into things. Spawning down to the bottom left-hand corner, it's our red Terran. Representing Team Acer, it is MMA. And up to the top right-hand corner, we have our blue Protoss. Representing Team Liquid, it's Mana.
I don't know what to say. It's a cool S3 so far.
Yeah.
I really like it, yeah.
Still options, I feel, for Mana, though. Still options.
Definitely, yeah.
I mean, we've seen people like Wellmove, for example, using very aggressive 2-base plays on this map and doing very well.
Yeah, you know, before the game started, Wellmove was like, MMA is not so good against all-ins. I would all-in him.
Yeah.
And then I said, okay, you have to tell Mana, not me. And I was like, yeah, I told him before, but I don't think Mana is that good of an all-in player. I was like, no, definitely not as good as you, Wellmove.
No.
And he was agreeing. He was like, yeah, it's true.
Wellmove is one of the kings of all when it comes to Protoss 2-base against Terrans.
It's very aggressive builds, definitely.
But he takes pride in it, and why on earth not? If you're going to win a game like that and hit it really hard, you know, you are a feared player. You are a feared player.
Especially if you can mix it up, like both styles.
Yeah. All right, so actually being extra cautious, checking his main base as well, just to make sure that MMA is keeping things normal and down the line here in this last game of the night.
And that's important, because MMA, he was down 0-1 against Golden, and then that's what the map where he proxy Rexed on Deadwing, like in the middle of the map, going for a proxy Reaper.
So MMA is not afraid.
He's not afraid, not at all. And I like it that Mana is going for an early scout, even checking his natural and his main base, just in case if there's a proxy barracks, because last week we saw Yoda doing it.
Yes, we did.
Against Sun, I believe. So.
And he made it look pretty easy, actually.
Yeah, definitely. If it's not scouted, we'll kill you.
Yoda's looking good this season. Looking good. We'll see more of him.
And once again, the probe is trying to sneak out, but I think this time MMA is actually not falling for it. Yes.
I'll sit around here.
Yeah.
And deny, 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 deny.
Because it happened in almost every game, I think. The first best of 3 and just the last one as well.
Yeah.
But he's not going for an eBay block, so...
Get out of my way. Okay, has to leave. Has to leave. Nexus is going to be thrown down. Look at the split behind that.
He even cancelled the Zealot, so Mothership Core is on the way. Additional barracks, so we won't see any kind of Hellions or Widow Mine drops.
Okay, so the big question is how is Mana gonna play out the mid game for me? I feel I anticipate, fully anticipate from MMA side of things to not play anything too wacky. I think he feels so comfortable in his macro ability after, especially after that game. Although you know Merry-Go-Round's a little bit of an odd situation to just kind of play this straight up. 3 barracks is going to allow him to put on some pressure early on. Maybe hunt out for those fortune overcharges, which would always be nice, as that command center is about to finish up.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, I think especially Twilight Council again. So that's what we saw in the first best of 3, like 3-gate blink. Then he was following up with a Robo into Colossus. I don't see him making early DTs. I think it would be nice to see, because maybe it will actually caught MMA completely off guard. But it's such a huge gamble. If your DTs don't do anything, you're basically so far behind.
Yeah.
I mean, you invest so much into it. You have to deal damage. And the Reaper might even find out about the Council.
Ooh, it's all the way in the back corner, so he has quite a bit of time to be able to delay that Stalker. Is he going to be able to intercept in time? Is he going to even go down there?
Yeah.
Yes, he does. Okay.
A Robo right away.
I think he may have abandoned the plans.
Could it be DT drops?
Oh, it could be. Yeah.
Oh no, never mind. There's Blink on the way.
Okay, okay. Guess he's going to be used that for defensive purposes here during all of this. As with the Robo on the way as well, has a little bit of opportunity to transition on once he's dealt with any kind of aggression.
MMA should be careful with moving out like this. He spots the Twilight Council. Maybe he will just take the Watchtower though. But if you spot the Twilight Council and the Protoss actually has like 3 gateways already, he didn't check behind the natural or somewhere, and if the Protoss starts to warp in a lot of Stalkers, you will get punished for that.
Yeah, it's a very, very scary spot. Very scary. Those the Marauders are very, very important in that. But even if your opponent has a lot of Stalkers, they can actually, if there's no concussive shell there, you can actually like get good angles and try and focus down the Marauders and then come back. And
yeah,
so
exactly.
you can dance with it and make it very, very difficult for the Terran.
And Mana is still hiding a probe and nearby the third of MMA. MMA is looking for it right now. There's a Marine. I think they won't see each other though. It's very close, but...
Close call.
Yeah. Nope.
Unless he moved.
Okay, so... Yeah, it's probably just for scouting, I believe, because it doesn't look like Mana want to be aggressive at all. He's adding his Robo Bay, he's adding a Forge. And he, of course, first of all, he has to defend against the combat shield attack that is on the way. With Stimpack, though. Yeah, it's completely 3 Rex before anything else, so MMA wants to deal damage here.
It's a strong force, very strong force. Army supply, 32 to 10. Ooh. Yeah. All right, but those 2 gateways finishing up means that the triple warpins can start occurring. And
just in time.
Yeah, Robo Bay's just about to finish up. So you just need to buy some time for that Colossus, but it's... he's going to have to buy quite a bit of time. Photon Overcharge needs to work really, really well. He's actually just going to keep going.
Yeah, he has to. The Terran has to.
Oh, the Nexus. He's going to try and bring this down.
Mana has to fight.
There's no way to save it. There's absolutely no way to save it. It's going to fall. MMA with a great pickup here in game number 3. Brings that down. He's going to take the fight straight. No more Photon Overcharge. No extra damage. The Stalker's going to have to be microed so perfectly. Yes, he kills off the majority of the Bioforce, but... he's lost so much of his income.
That was a neat call by MMA. Like, straight away he was going for the Nexus, and Mana, he had hesitated a little bit, like 5 seconds before he actually pulled his probes and was like, no, you're not going to get my Nexus.
And MMA now, he's bunkering up behind this. He knows that all he has to do is kind of hold on against anything that would be the follow-up, and he's going to be absolutely flying ahead. His income is vastly superior right now. He's adding on his production. He's getting +1 upgrades. I think all he has to do now is worry about any kind of Colossus poking forward, but even that won't have range.
Yeah, they don't have range. Mana is still rebuilding his Nexus. It will take a while. He's adding 3 sentries at home right now, and this is looking extremely good for MMA. Mana's even supply blocked because of that. everything is on hold, basically. He can't warp in units, he can't produce probes. The only thing he's producing is a Colossus.
What a pounce. What a pounce by MMA. I mean, after seeing the Twilight Council, after realizing there wasn't going to be the follow-up, during all of that, just pushing on forward. I mean, getting the Twilight Council before the Robo, right, it delays the Robo, so it's going to delay the Colossus from coming out. So I guess all of these things are going on in MMA's head, and he realizes he can just push for that big, big damage.
Yeah, and Mana realized too late what was going on. I remember Hastem against Jakji. Jakji was going for the same build, but Hastem, he had the feeling it was coming. I think he even scouted it, and he got an Immortal, for example. And he prevented the Terran from really committing toward the Nexus. So this is a tough spot. Mana isn't out 100%, but it's going to be a very hard road for him.
Going to be difficult. Third command center is on the way for MMA, whilst the Nexus and the Natural is only really just completed up for Mana now, and is starting to work away at those minerals once again. So he's trying to get the Colossi out, and did he forget range, or did he finish it?
No, you, like...
I mean, I guess he couldn't afford it, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Like, you can't get it right now. You have to get at least a second Colossus, and then you will probably start it, but he's so low on gas.
This is a brutal position.
He warped in 3 sentries. That's one more than you usually want to have, I believe. Or at least for most Protoss, I would say.
Yeah.
So maybe if he wouldn't have get the 3rd sentry, you could have started the range a bit earlier. But I don't think, to be honest, it makes that much of a difference right now. He's behind, and he has somehow to take a very good engagement. Maybe getting the Medivacs or something like this. But it will be tough. It will be very, very tough for him.
Yeah, range starts now, so a little bit over-asserting in, oh, he forgotten it? No, he just didn't have the money after that Nexus fell. As he's poking forwards again, and he may have got a little bit of inkling that there was no range there during that, but... You know, even that, it doesn't really matter, because this 3rd command center back at home is going to give him so much economical power, so much production, that Mana's catch-up capabilities are slowly diminishing.
What did I say on Marigo? When did he get his 3rd base? Was it 11:45 or something?
I can't recall.
Okay,
I can't
me
recall.
neither, but this 3rd is at minute 14, so that's very late. That's... I mean...
So delayed, so delayed.
Yeah. Mana split it up his force very well. All the Stalkers in the main, while the rest at the 3rd. Given he has a rather small army, so that's not that much, but at least he tries whatever he can do right now. He's once again adding Immortals into the mix, and probably going for Templar Archives once more.
Yeah. I mean, so far, MMA has read game number 3 so well, to the point where he's fighting so diligent for this. A little boost in there with 4 medevacs, and the Vikings have been spotted on the left-hand side as well. Army supplies 102 to 66. This is a massive army barreling down towards this 3rd base that, unless Mana takes a great engagement, the Colossi, they're going to get picked down again from these Vikings. One of them dies before even anything's happened. And on the right-hand side, ooh, looking to chase that one down. But this is a huge bio-army here from MMA, looking to destroy everything at this 3rd base. Time Warp looks to slow all of this down, but it's not even going to matter. MMA just has so much firepower. The 3rd gets cancelled. A great play here in game number 3 by MMA.
Yeah, the Colossus basically all die before doing anything. There's a Widow Mine as well. And the Bioforce is so big, he's cleaning up the rest. 150 against 88.
No AoE damage available to Mana. A valiantly fought effort here. But MMA continues powering on and on and on. Is never down and out. Because right now, he is sat outside his opponent's Natural with a healthy Bioforce against only gateway units.
Yeah, charge is not even finished. Mana is falling a little bit apart. He has so much minerals and gas.
GG, well played.
Calling
MMA moves on to the round of 8. He was looking a little bit shaky there at the start of this series, but he shows in game number 3 why he has the heart of a lion.
Yeah, look at him. You know, is congratulating him right now, and he's smiling again.
He looked nervous during that series.
Definitely, yeah.
He did.
After the first map, he was like, oh my god, why did I build tanks?
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
And then decided in the next 2 games, no, I won't do that anymore.
Yeah, let's go back to Bio, Widow Mine, Bio, Medevac, and Vikings. But yeah, he looked relieved, and it was, I mean, he crushed him in the 3rd map, because he was so far ahead after the Nexus, but it still feels so good if you win a game like that.
And MMA, he's looking at a round of 8 finish, but he's looking at the bigger picture. He is looking at BlizzCon. He is looking at the opportunity to play in Anaheim at BlizzCon. And this is so important for the guy. So big congratulations to MMA for moving on in 2nd place. He'll be playing in the round of 8, our finals here in WCS Europe.
Yeah, both Koreans topping the group. We have one Zerg advancing to the round of 8. And yeah, nice to see, I have to say.
Impressive stuff. So that does it from us here at the casting desk. Without further ado, let's hear from the 2nd place finisher of Group C. It's MMA.
Thank you very much, James. Yes, MMA, congratulations on the win, but more importantly, congratulations on reaching the round of 8 and keeping your BlizzCon hopes alive. Explain to me, in Game 1, when you lost, what was going through your mind? Were you thinking about BlizzCon? Were you thinking about the quarterfinals? What was happening?
첫 번째 게임에서 만화한테 졌을 때 뭐 블리즈컨 생각도 나고 뭐 무슨 생각이 났었는지.
일단 처음부터 블리즈컨 생각이 났고 이러다 1년 농사 망치는 거 아닌가. 1년 동안 포인트 잘 쌓았는데 마지막 경기에서 이렇게 지면은 블리즈컨 나가보지도 못하고 이 자리에서 그냥 끝나는 건데 진짜 2, 3경기 그래서 최대한 신중하게 했던 것 같아요.
Of course, I was thinking about BlizzCon because I've worked the whole year for this, and if I would have lost the next game, I'm out. So yeah, I was thinking about it the whole time.
Okay, so how do you ignore that, stop building tanks, and then start map 2 and start doing it the right way, the way that you've done it before?
그럼 어떻게 그런 생각을 억누르고 다음 맵에서 이제 이렇게 잘했는지.
솔직히 두 번째 세트도 준비를 뭘 해야 될지 몰랐어요. 근데 그 훈이 매니저께서 와서 그냥 안정적으로 하면은 정찰하고 하면 이길 것 같다고 그래서 스카우트 하면서 했는데 그게 이겼던 것 같아요.
So to be honest, I didn't actually know what to prepare for the second map. So, but my manager, me, came to me after the first game and told me that I should play very safe and just play to the late game and just do what I always practice. So I did it and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. So extra pay, more pay. Okay, good. So MMA's going to pay his manager more. So Inu's happy. Quarterfinals now for round of 8, WCS again, which is great. But again, are you always thinking about BlizzCon? Is it always about BlizzCon?
이제 8강에 갔는데 그래도 제일 중요한 건 블리즈컨이지. MMA 선수에게는 그게 진짜 언제나 생각하고 언제나 목표가 되는지.
그건 아니고요. 이번에 WCS 우승을 목표로 잡았고 WCS 우승을 하면은 블리즈컨도 자연스럽게 자신감 가져서 잘할 수 있을 것 같아요. 그래서 블리즈컨에서 뭐 우승한다 이런 마음은 지금 없고 일단 WCS에 집중할 생각이에요.
No, to be honest, at the moment my goal is to win WCS Europe. It's the last season, and if I win WCS Europe, I go automatically to BlizzCon. So I don't want to think about being a BlizzCon champion at the moment. I want to think about being a WCS Europe champion.
Okay, one final question. It's a very good night tonight for you and Golden, the old Slayers boys. Have you got anything to say about Golden's performance tonight?
오늘 그래도 명환이랑 성원이 형이랑 좋은 이제 다음 라운드로 가서 좋은 결과가 나왔는데 생각해 보면 같이 슬레이어스부터 같이 선수 생활을 했었는데 그거에 대해서 뭐 한마디 한다면?
일단 명환이랑 이렇게 WCS란 무대에서 만나서 즐거웠고 명환이 덕분에 한 10년 늙은 것 같아요.
I'm already worried.
I'm really happy that I had the chance to meet Golden in WCS Europe and play with him. But thanks to him, I feel like I'm older, like I aged 10 years after those games.
Okay, but you're still younger than me, so that's okay. Good. MMA, ladies and gentlemen, is the second man through Group C alongside his longtime friend Golden, who also qualifies from Group C. And that is that from Group C, except for the final words of the day to our 3 commentators. Sean, take it away.
Red-Eye, I'm joined with our two commentators today, Hazwobs and Kolaris. Fantastic job once again, and it's good to have a team of 3, not 2 this week, Kolaris. But let's take a quick look at the brackets just to summarize today, who went through, who didn't go through. And first of all, we had Golden through in first place, confirmed there as the bracket says so, and then of course MMA in second. Yes.
Really good call on Golden.
Thank you, Hazwobs.
He looked very strong today, I have to say.
Yeah, he definitely did. Surprising to many. Not many people thought he would go through in first place over MMA. I'm pretty sure both of you thought MMA as well, right?
Yeah, MMA. Again, I was actually expecting the Golden MMA series to go a little bit differently than how it did. I didn't expect Golden to go aggressive in every single game, but he did, and it won out in the end. I expected maybe at least one longer game.
Yeah. He played it very smart, I think. Like almost like every best of 3 he played was very smart by him. Every single map even. Like the small tricks he was doing, even like scouting with the Overlord, the proxy, Rex, then coming from the other side, not showing him for a while. Very smart. Yeah, I liked it.
So what was the thing that stood out the most for you in today's group then, Hazwobs?
That Velmo had such a hard time overall, especially the second best of 3. He was playing well against Golden, but completely fall apart against Mana. Especially the first map, where it was pretty even. Mana had slight advantage, but Velmo just had... Like, he was falling apart against War Prism, basically, and I was surprised by that. I thought he would do better.
And yourself?
Final series of the day, actually. I guess it's because it's fresh in my memory, but it was just really, really cool to see Mana actually taking that first game. Of course, there was the decision of MMA to go tanks, and it was a little bit dubious because of how things played out from there on out. But once you're a Protoss and you're in that position and you understand what's going on and there is that commitment to tanks, then you can shut it down pretty hard. And he did well to capitalize on that. If you're given that kind of boon, why not take it?
Yeah, and so we have another 2 players through, another Terran through. So we've got actually quite a few Terrans making their way to the round of 8. But tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. We have, of course, Daishi, Stardust, MC, and 4GG entering tomorrow's group. That's going to be such an epic group set of players. It's an awesome list.
Could be 2 more Terrans.
You think?
No. to be honest, I don't.
It's going to be hard for the Terrans, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
I think we might see the 2 Protoss players go through there. Well, I guess we'll have to find out tomorrow. Well, thank you very much for your services once again, boys, today. Red-Eye, where are you?
Actually, I've come and joined the crowd because they've been very good today. Well done, everyone. Yeah, you've done a great job of supporting the players today. Very noisy. We like that when they come down to the WCS studio. And as Apollo just said, we have a fabulous day tomorrow lined up for you with 4 more fantastic players. Daishi really up against it against 3 absolutely top European Koreans. Yeah, that's right. I went there. Tomorrow's Group D is the final one of the round of 16. But don't forget, we're back in early October for the round of 8, the quarterfinals, semis and grand final to crown our final champion of 2014 here in Europe. The road to BlizzCon continues tomorrow. Make sure you're tuned in at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time. We'll see you then.